Hey, it's the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Jump. Coming to light. Hello. Come back on him.
That was incredible.
Dude, nobody better. Nobody. Hell yeah, guys.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to the final NWP live stream of the year. Man, I was pulling for Denny Hamlin down the stretch for a couple of reasons. One, you look behind me here, I have the helmets of the three most recent NASCAR Cup Series champions. It's been like that for over a year because Logano, Blaney, Larson, been the three most recent champs for quite some time. I had this Denny Hamlin helmet ready to take, I guess, Larson's place in the closing laps. That's all I was thinking about. And then, unfortunately, things didn't go Denny's way. We'll break that down and much, much more. I am your host, Eric Easteb, joined, as always, by Danny B over here, stage right. Danny, how are you holding up? My wife's Oklahoma Sooners this weekend. What happened in Neyland?
We found every way to just do everything stupid. Joey Egler had a great game, except for the mistakes he made with fumbles and lots of things.
Scoop and score. We'll do that. Yes.
There is a bizarre amount of a vocal minority of people who want Josh Heupel fired as the head coach because of this game, when in reality, the coach isn't the issue, but his staff definitely needs to change.
Pandemonium out there in Knoxville. To my right, left, your stage left is Jarrett Lundberg. This way, the iceberg.
Yeah,
Jarrett, how are you doing this weekend, man? Final show of the season.
I'm doing pretty good. It was actually outside of maybe like the controversies that we'll probably talk about later. It's actually a pretty good sports week for me, at least. I mean, I had fun.
Your Vikings got a big win, right? Detroit.
Yeah,
Detroit.
Yeah, in Detroit. They're
big.
a good team. So I was genuinely surprised, especially since JJ McCarthy came back and even dropped a quote. And now it's on every Vikings podcast, and it's literally just like a dog in the streets.
Well,
I have no idea what the context was.
Someone's NFL team has to win because it's not me and Eric's usually now.
No, the AFC South has regressed to the mean. Even the Colts now look beatable, of course. Well, this is not a football show, but we are now in the NASCAR offseason, so might be more football conversations for everyone watching. Appreciate everyone tuning in tonight to the final NWP stream of the season. Appreciate all the super chats. We will get to the first batch of those during our first super chat stage break, but we just need to jump right into it. We'll go in reverse chronological order. We'll wrap up with trucks. We'll talk about the NASCAR Xfinity Series season finale in a few moments. Heartbreak in that race, but perhaps nothing was more heartbreaking this weekend, and I alluded to it, than Denny Hamlin coming up just short once again. Denny said himself post-race that no defeat in his career is close to this one. He had that race. He had the championship on lock. 3-second lead with 3 laps to go when fellow championship contender William Byron cut a tire, hit the wall, brought out the caution. Hamlin and Chris Gale opted for 4 tires. Cliff Daniels, Larson, 2. And that was the difference maker. Kyle Larson is a 2-time champion, and Denny Hamlin once again leaves the finale empty-handed. Gentlemen, it's been 3 days now, and I still don't feel like I've fully mentally processed this. Jared, I'll start with you. Your reaction to just the final, can't even put a lap number on, just the final 10 minutes of that race.
Well, so my wife is a Denny fan. She has been since she started watching in 2020 with me, and she always says, she, and sort of to mess with me, but also kind of numb the pain. She's like, Denny is just the NASCAR Vikings. Like every possible way to find a way to lose. And I'm like, yeah, not wrong.
She's not wrong.
She was sitting here, dog in one arm, baby in the other, nervous as hell watching that. And I had the raw feed up. And 10 seconds before on TV, the caution comes out. I'm just like, oh no. And she's like, what? And I'm like, do you want me to say what? I go, caution. For what? And then Byron pops on screen. Because there's been a lot of talk around the championship all year and for a few years now and all of that. But I kind of want to take it separately for me, just for Denny on a human level. Like that dude, and some of it's his own making, and some of it's not even bad, but that dude has had a ringer of 2025. All right. Like he's,
Sure.
the lawsuit is a weekly thing. Every single day of the week, there's something popped up about that. Yeah, sure. He brought that himself. I mean, on the good side of it too, has a new baby. I don't care how much help you have though. It's hard as hell. And it's draining.
He began the year with a new crew chief that he wasn't sold on at first. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like he was openly questioning, man, why did Chris Gabehart have to move upstairs? Like,
yeah, I mean that the new crew chief stuff with his dad, the fight
in a way,
to
the crew
get
chief
here
come back to bite him a little bit. So
well, and then how it happened too. It's like I'm gonna be honest, and I don't think it's hyperbolic to say this because we've seen Denny have slumps afterwards when he has heartbreaks like this. Like it, I think he comes back. I think stuff kind of got blown up this week, but does the same Denny come back at this point? He's going to be 45 entering next year. He's not getting younger.
I'll turn it over to you in a second, Danny. But I had that same thought on my show yesterday. Is I think where Denny Hamlin's advantage has been the past couple seasons has been his work ethic, the grind. He's older. He's no spring chicken. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. So he's put in the work to adapt to the next gen car, and he's done it better than Kyle Busch. He's done it better than Chase Elliott. He's done it better. I know the championships won't show, but he's honestly done it better than Joey Logano even. He's done it better than many other drivers he raced against in that previous era. And I think that's because of the work. And yeah, he's going to have a couple months off here, but it's going to be tough to strap the helmet back on, strap the gloves, and go hardcore for 38 weeks again next season. It's going to be tough. Yeah. Danny, I'll let you chime in now. Your reaction to how that race ended for Denny.
Well, here's the thing. I was very vocal all weekend, particularly on Twitter, that I am 100% out on this playoff format. I do not want to see it return. But at the same time, while we still had it, I was definitely going for Denny because, guys, at this stage, with all the, particularly if you look at the way his playoff run went, they could have a race where they would win, but then what happened in the ones in between there? There would be something disastrous happen. I don't think that Denny Hamlin and his team are good enough to be consistent enough to win it that way. I don't see that. And I want us to go to a format that rewards consistency. Don't get me wrong on that. But in its hopefully last stage as this one, I wanted to see Hamlin finally get it. I think he is a better suited driver to potentially do good in a one race situation like that. But ultimately he's come up short every time since then. So I'm sad. I felt like it really felt like Denny needed to have this one. I want him to have it, one, for everything he's gone through with the NASCAR lawsuit. Two, especially what's going on with his dad right now. Man, I hate it for him. I hate it for him so bad. This has been definitely a roller coaster of a year for him. I don't think he's going to go away. I think he will be racing next year. There's too much money. There's too much contracts, and he's not that kind of guy to just bail on that. But he's going to need a lot of time before Daytona. I know I see him on his Instagram. He'll take his nitro bass boat out and go fishing. I hope he can do some fishing over the off season, just kind of get his mind right a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Denny Hamlin summed it up actually really well, I think, during his media availability yesterday, because I've seen some folks, just taking shots at Kyle Larson about how Larson didn't deserve it. And you look at Larson's season as a whole, you could argue outside of wins, he has had a better season than Denny Hamlin from a statistical standpoint. So I don't think there should be any question that Kyle Larson is a deserving champion. And we'll talk more about him in a moment. But Denny summed it up best. He said, there's a difference between deserving and should have been. And he's right. Denny Hamlin probably should have been the champion, but NASCAR is going to NASCAR. And sometimes these races are decided by a late race yellow, overtime, a wacky pit road gamble. And this one didn't go Denny's way. It's hard to second guess. I mean, it's easy to second guess now the 4-tire call, but in the moment, thinking about the truck race, how that played out, 4 tires, way to go. I don't know.
I want to counter
Chris
just a little bit on something.
Yeah,
I want
sure.
to counter just a little bit on the Kyle Larson, winning it if it was on consistent points. Yes, that is a fact. If they were doing it on just nothing but points, Kyle Larson would have won it that way. But if we didn't race in this style that we do, the one that you win and you're in, rewards also winning and you're in the playoffs. If we did something that was more like the 10 race chase or full season points, one, I don't know. I don't know. This is a whole other discussion. I don't know if stages belong in that style because I feel like stages really just kind of help set up for building into the playoff system. So I don't know if that really belongs in there. But one, they would also probably race a majority of races this season a little differently. Because like, let's just say people are in a couple of races where, hey, we're getting desperate. We need a chance to win and in. So we're going to not take tires. People would call their strategies towards the end of these a little differently, just trying to keep their season consistent. So I don't know if it all plays out the exact same way if we are doing this on consistent points. I know Jarrett would always say in his missing rings videos or whatever, he used to do a series where if it's like
The
a
playoff ones,
yeah, it would all play out a little differently if we didn't race in this style. So there is, a little caveat to that. You can say yes, he would have won, but I think they would race. The races would at least have a different strategy to them if we weren't in this system.
And I'll counter also your counter with Larson also had 7 top 5s in the playoffs, 7 out of 10 races. So he was also, while he didn't win, and your point, yeah, this format's supposed to reward winning more, he did run really, really well even down the stretch and got some good finishes. Jarrett, what were you going to say?
I mean, I was just adding what Danny was, saying on that side, but I do want to push back on a criticism of Larson too. And I don't really know why this is as much of a criticism other than the initial stated goal of the format when it was announced, like in 2014, was for winning to mean more, I guess. I don't see why it's such a big deal that Larson didn't lead a lap. Like,
yeah, I agree.
I mean, I guess the only thing I can think of is like people, are used to the champion winning the race, I guess. But I feel like there's already a ton of anger through the season, but there was a lot of pent up anger through that race, through the season, because of how it finished. And and I think a lot of it had to do, and we'll talk about later, the Xfinity race. And I think Kyle Larson just became the scapegoat we could all throw it at, especially because like that champion interview he gave was one of the we just sort of landed in it, I guess. Basically interviews I've ever heard, and it probably didn't help. And because to his credit, Kyle Larson, there's a reason that Blunt Larson is one of the names of our fantasy users. So I think he's getting just unfairly criticized. I think too, he's set a standard so high that if he doesn't win 6 races and is winning every other race in the playoffs, that people are like, well, he doesn't deserve it. He sucks now. And it's like, no, he's actually still pretty damn good. Like I saw Larson fans in my chat on Sunday night were like, but we have like a 26 race losing streak. And I'm a Dale Jr. fan sitting here like, really? That's what you're upset over? Let me tell you about 143. So I think it's just so many warped perceptions of how different things have went, how Larson's been, the anger all with it. And it's just, we have a fan base that's ready to shoot at anything. And Larson was just the easiest target in the moment.
Yeah, it's the difficult thing. Any of the 4 in the Cup race would have been a deserving champion. But when you bill it as, hey, it all comes down to this race, you got to perform. Denny obviously performed better than Larson. And so for him to not win is why I think a lot of fans obviously felt frustrated. I think it was just simply the emotional whiplash of they spent 30 laps with Denny running off, the Lee Diffie explaining the backstory, setting the stage for Hamlin to take the stage finally. And then it all goes up in smoke in a matter of 5 minutes.
Well,
that's the whiplash that I think nobody in person or on TV watching at home knew how to process.
Well, and I'll add to it too. We've talked about how it's really, really difficult to have storylines that you can actually follow in the playoff era.
Mm-hmm.
And we finally have gotten one with Denny Hamlin this year.
Good point. Yeah.
And I feel like people were just who cares if it's Denny? We have something. I feel for the guy. They had the interview with him before the race about JD Gibbs 5 minutes before he jumped in the car, and he's tearing up. And a lot of people I saw that were just like, yeah, I'm not a Denny fan, but like, I hope he wins it. I feel for the guy. Like, we finally had something, and then it felt very cheap and unfair how it's ripped away. You know, I think it was a warranted caution. I think we should address that. I do think it was a warranted caution. It was consistent with what they called all day. If guys got in the wall and slowed up, they did call the caution. And based on Byron's reaction, I do not think there's some massive conspiracy that he brought out the caution while competing for a championship to give his teammate a shot at the championship.
No,
I've just
no
seen so
chance.
much crazy stuff this week
Yeah,
because it's
no,
just so much.
We'll put on our aluminum foil.
There's just
But-
so much anger right now.
But your point that you just made, Jared, actually is a really strong one, I think, that has become, I think, one of the more valid criticisms of the current playoff format that's popped up in recent months is the argument that with how the points are constantly resetting, it's hard for there to be a strong narrative flow that's easy to keep track of over several months. Things change constantly because of how the points reset. This race was a microcosm of that. As you watched a 312 lap race, and you got invested in the Denny Hamlin earning it storyline only for it all to rapidly change like that. And some of that is the charm of NASCAR. Daytona is the highest rated race of the year for a reason. Things change like this every lap, but it can also be extremely frustrating when you feel like the earned storyline doesn't get the payoff. So yeah, no, I think I think that's actually a really strong point as well. Denny Hamlin, still processing the emotions. Danny alluded to this earlier, I think, but he's implied he's going to race next season, but he does say it's going to take some time for him to fully get over this defeat. Great season for Denny Hamlin. Would have been a deserving champion, but was not meant to be. I do want to touch on Kyle Larson. We've talked about him a little already, but this is now 2 championships for Kyle Larson, 2 in the last 5 seasons, I suppose. He's been, I think, let me look this up. I think he's the winningest driver in the next gen era. Yes, he is the winningest race win driver in the next gen car era. He now has a next gen car championship, joins Kyle Busch and Joey Logano as the only other active multi-time champions. Danny, I'll start with you on this. What does this say about Kyle Larson's legacy? He's at 32 career wins now, in 402 starts, 2 championships. He's moving up some all-time lists.
Well, I know this one's going to probably, have a sour taste to a lot of NASCAR fans, but he is the kind of driver that should be a multi-time champion of NASCAR. So I'm in that instance, I'm glad that, yes, no matter what he does, if he decides in 3 years he wants to retire and just race sprint cars for the rest of his life, I'm glad that he would at least have 2 championships in NASCAR. He could have more for all we know when it's all said and done. But how about this, guys? We have a palindrome of champions for the last 5 seasons.
That's a big word.
Palindrome, for those who don't know, it's a word like race car that no matter what way you spell it, it is still the same word. And the champions of the last 5 years is a palindrome. It goes Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, no matter which way you look at it.
Someone in my mentions today said, "Oh, does that mean Chase Elliott wins next year?" Because he would have been the year before Larson. I said, "Hey, you may be onto something here."
I mean, if it's a more consistency-based system, Chase Elliott would play very well into that.
Great point. Oh my gosh, the puzzle pieces are coming together. DI9.
Kyle
fans.
Busch 2027. Woo!
That means Martin Truex Jr.'s got to come out of retirement, guys.
Man.
And that's where it ends because he's still on that bass boat that he entered in his mind. Like,
Or
in
wait, no.
2022.
It would actually go Kyle Busch.
Joey would win another one.
I know.
Jimmy
Jared,
hears the Chase might come back and he just starts. He's like, "Oh, you just announced today he's going to be driving some races."
He's getting warmed up for that championship run in 4 or 5 years, whatever it is. But no,
Going
Jared, I
back
know we've
to,
talked.
Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
I'm glad if there had to be anyone besides Denny win a championship, then being able to say that Kyle Larson is a 2-time champion is a good, I don't know.
It sounds right.
Yeah.
Like
I don't
last
want to
year.
say, I don't want to say best, worst case scenario, but It's kind of the best way I'm describing it.
I was looking this up last year. Last season he missed the championship barely. And it felt a little wild because he had 6 wins. And I'm looking at this. He led 1,700 laps last season, which is pretty insane considering the parity still of the next gen car even last season. So this feels almost like a makeup for last year.
Because last year it all kind of came down to he didn't win the regular season championship because he didn't get the race at Charlotte.
Yeah,
and that was ultimately a big reason why he didn't make the championship for last year.
Yeah.
Well, and Larson, I would say Larson is one of probably the 4 or 5 drivers that defines the current era we're in, the next gen era. Like he's one of them that's always up front every week, high in the points all the time, getting tons of wins. Like him, Byron, Hamlin, Bell. You could probably throw 1 or 2 more in there. Like Blaney is another one. Like if it's not kind of like last year where you're looking at it and like, oh, well, he, did this and this or whatever. Like I saw another one was like, well, he hasn't won a race during the last 10 weeks of the season. Well, yeah, neither Tony Stewart in 2005, and he kicked everybody's ass no matter what system they use. So it's like, it does definitely feel more like this is something that should happen at some point. And he is such a talent that's been sort of just shown off all over the motorsports world at this point, that it being that high up in the rankings will probably go a lot longer of a way now when it comes to championships and accolades and everything like that, to kind of making him more, at least in the motorsports world, of a star than he already is. Because I mean, look at all the stuff that he's done in the last 2-3 years, from dirt to IndyCar with the Indy 500 to NASCAR, now winning a championship on top of that. And who knows, maybe this is what gets him, because I think he has been a little bit off by his amazing standards. Maybe this is what kind of gets his mojo back a little bit, and he gets kind of back to that winning ways more often.
Yeah, even though Denny was likely going to win this race without that final caution, Kyle Larson and Cliff Daniels did what they do best. They withstood an issue on pit road. They overcame a tire issue midway through this race. It's not like Larson had a bad car. They qualified 3rd, ran top 5 most of the race, overcame obstacles, and were in a position to gamble at the end and get the win. This was sort of the textbook Cliff Daniels, Kyle Larson, never give up, get the result kind of race. So to your point, Jarrett, that could spill over into next year. Whatever the new format is, maybe it favors the 5 team. Real quick, before we talk about the other championship guys, Ryan Blaney won this race, which if we said that last week, I think you picked him, Jarrett, like for good reason. Like Ryan Blaney, Fall Phoenix, championship or not, is arguably the guy to beat. And while he had a top 5 car, he wasn't quite as good as Denny or Byron down the stretch, but
he started 31st, I think.
Brad Keselowski sort of just handed it to him there at the very end. Still, to end the race, to end the season with another win, I think his 4th of the year. Pretty cool story for Ryan Blaney.
Well, and Brad, I think, had said that he had kind of overshipped it in the corner because he thought that the others were going to kind of take each other out and he wanted to be ahead of it. And he just miscalculated horribly. But yeah, I mean, Blaney is another one of those drivers that I mentioned earlier. Like, he defines this era. I just wish that people would have basically known. I know there were some people I talked to that were like, hey, by the way, who won the race on Sunday? And I was like, Blaney. Like, really? They interview him? No. Like, then what did he do? Well, I mean, I had to go to a video on YouTube, somebody filmed from the stands to see his burnout. I didn't know he did a burnout.
He doesn't do a lot of burnouts usuly. Maybe
no,
NBC was just assuming he wasn't going to.
I think they were trying to shuffle the hell out pretty damn quick, is more or less. It was crazy.
Apparently they did post race stuff on Peacock. It ended quick on TV.
Yeah. So I don't know if you'd seen it, Eric, but like,
I did not.
So what basically happened is they almost missed until they went to the front shot of the start finish line. They almost missed Blaney crossing the line as he passed Brad. And all the focus, of course, is on Larson, his burnout. We didn't see anything about Blaney. They interview Larson, interview Hamlin, and get the hell out of Dodge because they had went like 5 minutes into a football pregame show.
And
And
the race didn't drag. That was a
it
relatively quick race.
Well, it did bleed into the football window because NBC had a
How
smaller
tight
window
was the
this week.
window?
Well, they started at 3 and had to be out by 6 at Central Time. Or I think
You
it was
can't.
that.
How are you giving a cup race a hard out of 3 hours? Have they ever seen a NASCAR race?
It was crazy. I mean, it was nuts. They were like, and we'll have all the coverage on Peacock, and I just see like my chat and my live viewers just skyrocket and just go, and it's just pissed.
The curse of the cock.
That did
Live
not.
by the cock, die by the cock.
It did. It did not help. It did not help at all for how pissed people were, because like they just interviewed Denny and Larson.
At least they interviewed Denny. I could see them turn into Peacock to get maybe the most emotional interview you'll see all season. And yeah, at least they did Denny. But no,
it was rough. It was,
man. We were spoiled by those 5 weeks of Prime. Those 5 Prime weeks with their extended post race. We were spoiled. We had no idea how good we had it.
Man, NBC took a step back this year. Like between the lack of promotion, between the quality at times taking huge dips. But I mean, Lee Diffie. I'm a Lee Diffie defender. That might have been one of his worst races called yet. He got so many names and facts wrong. Like it was like, 2023 Mike Joy when he just phoned it in for a year there. Damn. Like Lee Diffie just got, it was off. Like Jeff Burton and Steve Letarte carried it in the booth, which I don't say very often because I think Lee Diffie is awesome and I do defend him. But it was just NBC they were just not on it. That and you wouldn't have known anybody else is on track at all. It was just those 4 on screen the whole time. They missed crashes. It was just bad.
That sounds very Fox-esque, where it always feels like Fox almost scripts their broadcasts ahead of time, and then when something off script happens, they don't know how to react. That kind of sounds like NBC there. No matter what, camera A are going to be on championship, burnout, championship. And someone else won the race? We didn't account for that.
I just remembered. They didn't even show the trophy presentation on TV.
No, they did not.
It was the first time in history that since they've done post-race shows that they didn't show the champion lifting the trophy over his head. Like this race felt so, there was no like finality to the race itself, like to the coverage, anything. Like it was just. Shame.
So
did they show
reaction for a lot of fans that this championship doesn't matter this year? It's just painted by NASCAR and a TV broadcast.
TV treated it that way at the end. I mean, it was bad.
I'm sure they shoehorned in that awkward Sydney Sweeney movie promotion in the pre.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They put that in.
Yep. They got that in there. Okay.
Yeah. They put that in.
That was she may be an actress. She's not winning any Oscars.
Yeah. So I'm not the only one that completely understands she is not famous because of anything to do with her acting.
I mean, I can't say I've seen her act in many things, but that was one of the most stiff. They had to his credit, they had Mamba on stage, hyped as all hell as usual. They had the WWE. They had the WWE lady on stage, hyped as all hell.
She was really good.
Understood the assignment. And to contrast that hyped energy with Sydney Sweeney's just dry delivery, flailing this checkered flag around. I was like, damn it, come on. You have Sydney Sweeney.
When I heard she was there, I knew they were going to do something. I was more surprised they had a jacket covering her than I was by her doing anything. Like I was expecting them to just like throw her out there and be like, Sydney Sweeney, ladies and gentlemen.
It was just,
we know there's 2 reasons you like her.
It was like crickets. I mean, the people were excited to see her, but then when she started,
I bet they were.
NBC not going out on a high note, sadly, but I want to get back to the race real quick. A few things we need to mention. Kyle Busch, I found out from Dustin Long after the race, this was his first oval top 5 finish of the season. 5th.
Jesus.
For Kyle Busch. Anyway, congratulations.
Just in case though.
Yeah,
and then Brad was second.
I still got it.
Keselowski second. He had a really good playoffs despite not being in them. I will give him that, even though he choked this one away.
Whatever they do next year, whether it's 10 race chase or full season, because it sounds like now those are the 2 they're going towards more. Like whichever one, Brad Keselowski is going to probably be more in the conversation. That 6 team this year, I think, took a step back more because they gutted it to help the other 2 teams, not because it was Brad being cooked. So I think I and others probably over jumped that one early on, even though it looked like it.
I think
Yeah.
RFK is going to have a better year next year. I really do. I think
They
someone's
finished strong.
going to go back to victory lane there next year.
Oh yeah.
I would agree. Yeah. We haven't really mentioned Chase Briscoe or William Byron. I know if you've watched like Jarrett's videos, might be like we've talked about. You watched our post race stuff. We've given a lot of chatter, obviously, to Briscoe and Byron, but they'll be back. I mean, Byron's been here 3 years in a row. I thought for about half the race, he arguably had a better car than Denny, at least on the short run. And then Denny, they kept adjusting out. They got better. And then Chase Briscoe, so many tire failures throughout the weekend, and yet they kept bouncing back.
They were still
like
up
an
there.
itch you just couldn't scratch. They just kept coming back and had a shot up until like the final restart or so. I mean, that's the shame. The unfortunate thing here is that there are so many negative emotions and just, frustrations after the race. But there was a moment 30 to go where Denny Hamlin made a 4-wide pass between all the championship contenders to take the lead. It was one of the greatest NASCAR moments put to film. And now
that was when I really thought he was going to win a championship. That was the most calm, cool, and collected I had ever seen Denny Hamlin in my entire life. I thought when he pulled that off, I was like, he is definitely going to win this championship.
And it's not just that.
Saw what happened.
It was the 4-wide, but it was also entering 1 and 2, the wherewithal to get off early, set up the crossover move, and pass Byron. Like it was brilliant to watch. And the other thing that people forget about the race too is Briscoe and Larson had to come back from being a lap down to be up there fighting.
Yeah.
Like all intents purposes, it was honestly I thought a good race. I thought it was a good race.
Very good race. I would agree. I know a lot of folks were frustrated in my mentions with all the tire failures. Teams were pushing the issue. This was maybe the hottest conditions they've experienced with this new left side tire. But like, man, this left side tire saved Martinsville. And I thought that was by and large the most compelling Phoenix race we've seen in years. So I miss me with the Goodyear criticism. I can't do it. The Goodyear's doing what we asked.
I said the same thing Sunday night. Goodyear has bailed out NASCAR's ass this year. Like if they get one, and this wasn't a 2008 Brickyard. Like people, I think the other part is people forget that 2008 Brickyard wasn't just, the tires sucked. It was gross negligence by every party involved heading into that race. The track, NASCAR, Goodyear, like they knew there were problems and they was like, we can do more tests and didn't do anything. They just pushed it a little too far, and the setups from the sound of it were pushed a little too far by most of the teams that had problems. So no, if this is a consistent thing next year and we constantly have this, I'll be upset.
Sure.
But Goodyear has bailed us out so much this year. I think they're allowed a mulligan, even if it's this race.
I thought it was interesting. Steve O'Donnell during the State of the Sport address gave Goodyear an extra special shout out. It was a lot of like, hey, thank you to Sunoco Race Fuel. Thank you to SMI and the Smith. And an extra special thank you to Goodyear. Like it was, I'm like, hey, they've earned it. I get it.
Goodyear tires, they can make you live forever.
But yeah, so that was the championship race. The format, of course, continues to get a lot of debate. It sounds like, based on what Jordan Bianchi and The Athletic reported last week, NASCAR's torn between sort of a 3-3-4 playoffs, some simplified version of the 10-race chase, or full season. I think we all kind of know what we all prefer on this panel at this point. What do you think they're going to do? They're probably not going to make a decision until after Christmas, if I had to guess. But Jarrett, what do you think they're going to choose?
Okay, so a lot of the steam from what people talking about it were saying, and like the compromise side was 10-race chase. I think that was before what happened. So like, but because they can say it right now, it's going to be 10-race chase. And I think that's what they think right now. But 6 weeks ago, they were saying 3-3-4. Like I look back on our podcast and it was 6 weeks ago, 3-3-4 was the big one. I looked back even further, about 7 weeks before that, it was a 5-5 was the leading one. Like it just keeps changing based on the conversation.
Okay.
So I can't say full season yet. I think 10 race, but it is like 51-49 at this point, because I think personally, NASCAR is shaking in their boots right now, and they need a good PR moment. The lawsuit is awful.
Sure.
People are pissed off more than ever about the playoff versus the whatever points they have. I don't know what they would choose. I don't think at this point a 10 race chase would appease people. I know, like for me, in the last 8 months ago, I was like, let's do it. To compromise, sits in the middle. Doesn't matter how many you have, like 16, 12, 10, like we can make something work. And now I'm kind of like, I'm entrenched on my side, and I think a lot of other people are, and I don't see it getting better. I think I'll say what I said last week. You got to choose one or the other. You either do playoffs and you stick to helping that side and being on that side of the crowd, whether it's 3-3-4 or what we have now, or you do full season. If you're in the middle, you're just going to piss both sides off, and you're going to be in the same boat in 3 to 5 years, where somebody's going to have a dominant season and end up finishing second in points, and then everyone's going to be pissed all over again, and this whole subject's going to be brought right back up. I think NASCAR needs to just make the hard call. It's either we're going to keep going the sports entertainment route, or we need to go to what fans majority-wise look at legitimate.
I think the 10 race chase is the best option, 100%. I think that is probably what they're going to pick.
It's classic NASCAR.
It's what I saw majority of my time as a fan, so I would be okay going to that one. I am not wanting a 3-3-4. That basically just still feels like what we've had.
My fear with I prefer having a form of playoffs or chase. I think the 10 races, let me put it this way, from 2004 to 2013, I know years later, Jeff Gordon in 07 got robbed, for example, but by and
people
large,
were pissed at the time.
By and large,
they were pissed at the time, dude. Like, what's
I would
like,
say,
people
we were 9 years old.
No, but you can go back and look what people were saying. They were pissed off. The reason the elimination style chase came in is because of how pissed people were with the chase. They were
more pissed because Jimmy that wasn't people being pissed at the chase as much as it was NASCAR interpreting fan backlash as fans don't like dominance. Jimmy won 6 titles in 8 years
after the fact, Eric.
No, they implemented the playoffs
4
the year after. No, Jimmy won in 2013.
Yeah, and Tony won the year before that, and Brad won, or 2 years before that, and Brad won the year before that. Like,
Jimmy almost won in 2012. I don't remember what he did in 2011, but Jimmy was this close to 7 and 8 years, and NASCAR finally pulled the trigger going into the 2014 season. So my point was,
still found a way to win that one.
Especially now, we look back. Does anyone today question the champions of 2004 to 2013? Does anyone today say Keselowski didn't earn it? Does anyone say even the Stewart Edwards battle? I don't think anyone questions the Tony Stewart championship in 2011.
Natural though, the way it built up. 2010 was a really good one.
Which is why I'm saying I think that's what they'll go back to, because it'll be, we're going back to our roots. NASCAR's peak ratings were 05 chase, They can pitch it like that. That's why I think they're going to go back to some form of the chase. I hope they don't go back to the original chase. I hope they still find a way to reward regular season success when they reset. I hope they include some form of playoff points. But yeah, I would be surprised if they go back to a full season at this point, because I think there are a lot of pitfalls they could step in with a full season format as well. So I think actually they don't need to pick one extreme. I think they can balance with a 10 race type chase, but that's my prediction. I don't know if that's what they're going to do. That's just my guess.
My thing is that NASCAR has, for the last 20 years, tried to please everybody, and they please nobody. Like that, the 10 race chase, yes, is the biggest compromise, but at that same point, we're now in a different part of the conversation too than it even was back then. Like now when you look at the motorsports landscape right now, the majority of people that are watching other motorsports, and especially the ascending ones like IndyCar, which has had ratings go up, and Formula One, which has went up, the majority of new people that are getting into motorsports are not NASCAR fans. They're looking and they look at NASCAR wanting to do playoffs and different things, and they're like, that doesn't really make sense because that's not what Formula One does. It's not what IndyCar does. Like, it doesn't make sense to a lot of outside people to reset things. It's more simplified. I think it's better. I would give it, like I said, the 3-3-4 is like a D- to the current one's F. Like I'd give this like a C+ to a B-. Like it has a lot more merit, I will say. Like I think during the chase era from 04 to 13, the lowest that somebody won the championship had for most points scored in the year was 4th, and that was Kurt Busch in the first year. So like it would be better people up front, unless NASCAR gimmick the hell out of how you get points, which I wouldn't put it past them. So like, again, it would help for a bit, but I think 3 to 5 years in, we're going to have the same conversation And then you already have made it so polarized on both sides by NASCAR's own making, by publicizing all the stuff about committees and basically letting people go out and talk about it. So I don't think hitting right in the middle is going to make anybody happy. I think the playoff crowd is not going to like that. It's not going to have the excitement going into the final race it usually does in the current format. And the 36 crowd isn't going to be happy because we're basically there except for one reset. Like, you're just going to have both pissed at that point.
If we do 10 race chase, do we still do win and you're in?
You could, like 11 through 16, because I don't know.
I'd be okay with
do you have 16 or do you go back to 12 like it used to be forever?
I'd be okay with like a couple wild card spots like they used to have for the drivers outside the top 10 with the most wins. I'd be okay with that, but I wouldn't want like automatic winning. Like winning is all you need to do.
I don't if the 10 races are going to be about points, I don't like the idea of winning you're in, because that's really just associated with this style. So I would be okay with just, if you can make the top 12 or even top 14, whatever the number they want it to be. I think 16 is a little too much, but I mean 10 races is still a long part of the season to say you got to be consistent for 10 races. That's 27% of an entire season right there that you got to be consistent, going from hot summer when it starts into cool fall temperatures, and you got to be the best car during that period.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do here. I said this on the show before, but I like having a form of chase or playoffs because, for example, we all know right here, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has no chance of winning the championship next year. We all know that. That's a fact. Doesn't matter what format, no chance.
He doesn't.
But he can compete. But he could make the chase. He could, especially if it's 16.
Why should he
still next year?
Why should he though? It's a waste of space. It's literally just busy work. We're going to focus on mediocre drivers again, just like we do in the current system.
I think there's room for the final 3 or 4 weeks of the summer to talk about guys making the chase. It's a sub storyline. It gives those teams that otherwise have nothing. So you're saying Stenhouse has nothing to race for next year? It's like, no, making the top 16, making the top 16. Making the top 16 is still a storyline for that team. And it doesn't take away the final 10 weeks. That's 2.5, 3 months. We'll focus on the championship guys. But for 3 or 4 weeks in August, we can't talk about Ricky Stenhouse versus Eric Jones versus, man, what a difference it would make for these mid-sized
if they want to get talked
the top
about,
16.
They can go up and win a race, or the team can improve and get better.
But that's unrealistic, right?
They can't win a Daytona race, and we can't talk about them then. We're going to be in the same position as the Harrison Burton conversation.
Okay, I don't agree with that.
But
I don't agree with that whatsoever.
Why?
Okay, change the driver away from Ricky Stenhouse, and let's talk about someone like a SVG. Now, he's in Trackhouse equipment, and that is good enough equipment to make a 12-team chase, but he's got to get his oval finishes more consistent if we're not going to have a win in your end system. So he's still going to want to go out and try to set the record for most road course wins. He's still got something to race for.
Well, and he has gotten better at ovals. I mean, he was running top 5 off speed at Loudon. He's been running top 15 to top 10 in the last 10 or so weeks. Like, he's improving. Like, if you did a 10 race chase just off points, or if you talked about like top 10 to 12 guys in points just in a full season, you're going to talk about Shane Van Gisbergen because he's improved that much. Look at how he has been since like race 27 on in speed compared to what he was in like the first 10 to 12 races.
If Juan Pablo Montoya can go from where he started at to making the 09 chase, I think that SVG is a capable enough driver to do it.
Because he'll win more. And I think winning should be weighted more. Like I'm tired of focusing a majority of the summer on mediocre drivers making, the 16 cutoff or winning a race. And we'll know that they're like a Josh Berry isn't going to do a goddamn thing.
Well, so I'm not proponent of winning you're in, and that. I'm not proposing that
we're talking about wild cards. So.
Well, I'm talking about if we I wasn't referring to winning you're in. Danny brought up winning you're in. And I said, if we do 1 or 2 wild card spots, that's fine. But the focus would be on, okay, who makes the top 10 in points? Who makes the top 12 in points? And my point was simply that I think it's fun for fans of Hayek Motorsports or Legacy Motor Club to have something tangible that they could pull for their drive. Everyone knows Eric Jones isn't winning the championship next year, but if they make the chase, they make the playoffs, people like labels, GOAT, MVP. To label your favorite team or driver a chase driver I think that's fun. And I think that's a storyline for 3 or 4 weeks in August. It doesn't take away from the championship fights. That's all I was proposing. And I'm not, but you guys know I don't like winning you're in. I'm not a fan of 35th in points, winning at Daytona and making the playoffs. That's not what I'm advocating for. I'm advocating for the points battle, 10th to 15th, being interesting in August and spending a couple weeks talking about it. That was all I was trying to say there at the end. Someone in the chat said, actually, Eric Jones is going to win. But I'd love it one day, but not anytime soon, sadly. Ratings, we can move on. We'll move on to, because we still have an Xfinity and truck race to get to, and I don't want this to be a 3.5 hour show.
Nah.
TV ratings. Let me pull this out of the way so I can actually look into the screen. Phoenix, 1.44 rating, 2.77 million viewers on NBC, down 10% in rating, down 5% in viewership year over year. Oh, and Jarrett, I just see added our Martinsville ratings as well, which is down 6% year over year. We didn't have those last week. I was like, why do I see
they put them out like Friday?
I was like, why is Martinsville in my notes here? Okay.
Have we had any race this year that was actually up compared to the year before?
I think early in the year, some of the Fox races were FS1 and Fox races.
I can check for you while we're going through the rest of the stuff and the rating side of it.
Some had to be because we had playoff races down 30%, and yet for the year we only finished down 14% year over year. So
Atlanta was up.
Some races at the beginning of the year had to be up. At least a few of them. Where are we at? So yes, for the year we averaged down 14%, which if you listen to the state of the sport, and obviously the Steves are gonna, they're gonna say as much or as little as they can, but they said that was what they roughly estimated. I think Phelps said that the Fox portion was better than they expected, the Amazon portion was better than they expected, but the TNT and USA networks portions were lower than expected. But 14% down is, I guess, what they were predicting a year ago. But yeah, down 14%, a lot of cable races, some streaming races. We've talked about that as well. And then the final few NBC races were down, 5 to 6% each. Xfinity Series, however, averaged for the year over 1 million viewers per race, which is a 10% increase over 2024. It's a 4-year high in TV ratings for that series, opposite of Cup, which mostly on cable, bunch of different networks. The Xfinity Series was on one channel, an over-the-air broadcast channel, all season long. Good note here that 21 out of 33 Xfinity races, including the Phoenix finale, were over the 1 million average viewership mark. So really promising TV viewership numbers for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And now it's time for the poll. The famous iceberg poll. Jarrett surveys the chat every single week immediately following the NASCAR Cup Series race. Ask them if they thought the Cup race was any good. And this week, 13,000 viewers voted on the famous iceberg poll. 17% said Phoenix was a great race. 30% said it was a good race. 11% said average. And this has to be a close to, if not a season high. 42% of voters said this was a bad race. Which I don't know. How did you phrase the question? Because if 42%,
what did you think? What did you think
of the race?
What did you think of the race? I try to be as neutral as possible.
That's very broad. That is very broad, and that explains the negative votes. Because I'm like, if you're just judging the race was decent. But if you're judging the emotions after the race, it was like fairly negative for anyone who wasn't probably a Kyle Larson fan. So that is. Let's see. Do you have the numbers here, Jarrett? That is the 7th best rated Phoenix race in the poll.
That's just how bad Phoenix has been, man.
Where does this rank negatively on the season or all time? Where does this rank?
So I have 6th highest all time and 2nd highest of the season, only behind Spring Bristol.
As far as like most negativity?
As most negative. Yeah, it's 6th high. I mean, I can read off really quick because I have it right at the bottom of my notepad here. The only 5 that have beat this race is 5th place, the 2019 finale at Homestead. That race was,
and that's just because Kyle Busch won, I feel.
Yeah. Let's see, where's it at? No, I was reading the wrong one. 2019 Pocono Spring had 43% negative. Last year's finale, 48%. So we're heading in the right direction. This year at Bristol was 53% negative. And then The 2022 Texas points race, 67% negative. The most negatively voted poll all time at 73% was the 2022 All-Star race.
That's still so surprising to me that that's the worst race all time. The right guy won in the end. I know there's the window net controversy, but the right guy at least won the race. And I felt like that was where most of the frustration stemmed from. I don't know. I'm still surprised that is the all-time lowest. That's a little surprising to me. But
Hey,
all right,
You were at that though, right?
I was, and I was pissed. I was like, this is great. But then the right
Yeah.
guy still won. And I thought, okay, well, it was ugly, but
You add in the bad TV broadcast. That thing was a total clusterclug.
It
Like,
was pretty bad.
yeah.
That was the one. That was the one where I got Jarrett to enjoy a racing simulator. A little funny.
That was the one he got me in a racing simulator after I drank like something like 16 beers and some whiskey.
He
It
did
was
not run a
great.
good line.
No, it was I found the suboptimal line at the Nashville Fairgrounds that night because it was the SRX game. But when it comes to the comments, first comment was from Akshay Talks. Was it positive, negative, or meme?
Ooh, that's a name we don't usually see, but I think they're a Hamlin fan, so I gotta go negative.
oh, that's a good guess. Yeah, I agree.
So that was the one that last week had said that like I think he thinks Jarrett takes credit for all of the things that are going on with Chicagoland, and if they get full season points, I'll take credit, because I bought NASCAR last week. Akshay says, I love NASCAR. That's it. It's positive.
That sounds a little tongue in cheek because I think they're a Hamlin fan.
They're pretty positive on the playoffs from what I could tell. So I think they actually like it. I think it's positive.
I thought that maybe they're not a Hamlin fan. I thought they were.
Cousin Carl 99 says, I'm so hyped that my guy got it done, but holy freaking crap, I feel so bad for Denny. He had the whole world riding on his shoulders and a single caution took it away.
And a hindsight 2020 pick decision.
Yeah,
that too.
Paladin says, I won't miss this format at all.
Danny Rick race, Bobby. Well, never mind. Go on. I'll let you finish.
Danny Rick Bobby says, Blue Jays fans, Denny fans, and Keselowski's fans are the most depressed fan bases in sports right now. Another one here says, absolutely gutted for Hamlin, and I'm a 9 fan. And then Denny delivers, says, I'm throwing up.
Screaming and crying and throwing
and
up.
The gutter comment is from Get Chastained, says, damn it, I hate Larson.
See, that's what I think our first topic we were trying to avoid, but
that was the gutter.
They may have just hated Larson before, I guess. That may have nothing to do with the championship.
That's probably it. But that is the poll, and I think we got about the cup race, the last cup race of the year.
Yeah. Certainly gave us plenty to talk about. 53 minutes in, and we still have 2 more Phoenix races. We will get to that first Super Chat stage break in due time. We really do appreciate the support. We've got a lot of Super Chats to get through. Appreciate everyone hanging with us. The Xfinity race. I guess we don't have to retread all the same ground because I'm sure the playoff format is very much at the tip of everyone's tongue here as well. And I think we've all said our piece on that. I don't think anyone on this panel, myself included, and I know I get labeled the pro playoff guy just because I'm not necessarily anti-playoff, but I have been anti one race championship for many, many years. So Saturday night's Xfinity race, if it wasn't for the rest of you, it was the straw that broke the camel's back, I think, for most. Connor Zilich, a 10-win season, incredible year. Not just the wins. I think everyone, Ryan Newman won 8 races in 2003, also blew up every other week. Connor Zilich didn't just win 10 races. He had 18 straight top 5s at one point. He was just damn good, start to finish all year long. He does not win the championship. His good buddy, Jesse Love, drove the race of his life to win at Phoenix and clinch his first career Xfinity Series championship. And I don't want, kind of like Larson, I don't think Jesse Love, opposite of Larson. Well, I don't think Jesse Love put together a championship caliber season, frankly, in my opinion. I don't want him to bear the brunt of fan frustrations because he played by the rules and ran an incredible race. Yeah. They fired off with 12th place speed, battled back, got better, drove away from Zilich, from Allgaier, from Almirola in the closing laps. He deserved this win. He played by the rules. He is the champion. I don't think there should be anti-Jesse Love sentiment out there, but if we're being honest with ourselves, it is silly that the guy who earned more points than anyone all year, who won 10 races, who set records, it's a little silly that he's not the one hoisting the big trophy at the end of the night.
This is a championship that forever needs an asterisk next to it, in my honest opinion. I'm gutted for Connor. We had him on our show just a couple weeks ago. He's a Florida Gator fan. I'm a Tennessee fan, so he and I have actually kind of connected over enjoyment over college football a little bit. I texted him on Sunday and just said, good morning, champ. I don't care what the paper says. And then I said, meanwhile, both our teams lost last night, so it is what it is.
Just rubbing salt in the wound.
Well, more or less, I know he's looking to go into the Tennessee-Florida game. I am too, and I just said we can both enjoy our teams battling for whatever loser bowl we get.
I'm
the Pop-Tart Bowl.
I'd love the Pop-Tart Bowl. That's a fun one.
I lived off Pop-Tarts for a while, basically, like in high school. This is the one that should
he responded fairly good spirits, though. So,
but yeah, this is the one that should piss everyone off more than the Cup race. Like the Cup race, like at least the guy that got the most points all year won. Like I know they would have raced differently, all that. Like I'm sorry, there's no way that everyone could have raced differently and kicked Connor Zilich's ass this year. Like there's not. He basically just turned it on easy mode after breaking his back. Like I said in my missing rings video, like how at the time we were wondering, like, is he going to be the same driver when he comes back? And we were right to wonder because he came back a better driver.
Exactly.
Like I mean, it's not just silly. It's just plain stupid. This is stupid that this happened. The only way it could have been more stupid this weekend is if Corey Haim had lost his championship, and we were damn close to that happening too. And that's what I said in my video on Monday. I'm like, yeah, NASCAR fans have every right to be pissed off right now because and we saw with the lost test with I believe it was a hypercar, it's actively diminishing NASCAR's new star. A lot of people ask Jeff Gluck, like, come on, like, give some tangible way to show your argument for the playoff format is holding back our stars. Well, here's a tangible way. He had the flight booked. Sure. Because let's be honest, we all know he should be champion. We all do. Oh, yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. That whole FIA stuff is stupid as hell. Like, and they don't get off scot-free from this either. This is dumb as, and I guarantee if somebody with more money had showed up, they would have let him through.
So can Jesse Love go test in his place now? I mean,
how many points did FIA points did Jesse Love just earn? That's what
seeing how this is like his first non-super speedway win that stuck.
That's what I'm saying. I'd wonder, does Zilich, 10 Xfinity wins, Rolex 24 class win. Does Zilich or Xfinity champion Jesse Love have more super license points? That's the question. That's what I want to know. Because their place, is that publicly available? Can you look that up? Is it like the golf rating, like rankings? Can you look that up anywhere?
Hell if I know, man. I'd be interested to know for sure. I just, at the end of that race, because I picked Love to win, and so like bragging rights and all, and I was not happy at all. I was like, I don't care. My wife came in here and I was just like, I don't care if I lose. I want the right guy to win. It's like when I know he's been getting a lot of heat this week, but I do think he had some credence to saying this, even if it was a little tongue in cheek. When Jordan Bianchi had said, like, if you want full season points to be like more of a chance, root against Connor Zilich and Corey Haim. Like, I wouldn't be surprised because of the blow up, but I'm not an ends justify the means kind of person with a lot of things. And that's one of them. I want the best of the best celebrated. We should have focused on Connor Zilich. Like, what is this season going to be? This was the greatest Xfinity Series season ever. And everyone's going to look back and be like, he not only didn't win the championship for drivers, they lost the owner's championship to Eric Almirola and the 19 team. Yeah. But hey, congrats, he got Rookie of the Year.
Thank goodness. I was going to say that at the end as sort of my own tongue-in-cheek comment.
Banner. Hang the banner. We got Rookie of the Year. Woo!
I know he's way more just reserved now, but I will just say this about Eric Almirola. Even if we are going to a system that rewards consistency, he should look at going full-time. He could win a championship in this series. He is that good when he gets in that equipment right now.
Totally. I would
I
love
feel
to see
like
him full time.
the same way we talk about Kyle Busch, like maybe in like 5 years, he'll just run a truck season to try and get a championship in all three. You know, I feel like in 25 years, we could say that about Zilich. Man, all he's missing is that Xfinity championship because of 2025. And he comes back to win it because they have a new format. I don't know. It's going to be that what if. And no, to your point, the NASCAR has a rising star that kind of missed out on his moment, if you will. And Steve O'Donnell acknowledged that also in the state of the sport. When he was asked about playoff formats, he essentially said, yeah, the one race championship is dead and cited this as essentially the reason. Like young up and coming stars who have incredible historic seasons have earned the right to be named champion. And this format, because it insists on resetting everybody back to zero, a tiebreaker for the final race, it just doesn't work when someone like Zilich has been heads and shoulders above the rest of the field. It almost works in the cup race when you have four pretty much equally deserving championship contenders, but it gets horribly exposed in a Heim or a Zilich type case. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened for Connor on Saturday. Truck race, Friday night. The weekend got started off, I think, with a bang. Not only did the most deserving driver, 12 wins on the season, all that, most deserving driver win the championship. Hooray, celebrating the right guy. But he did it in dramatic fashion. Late caution for Connor Mozak up in the wall. Heim took tires over track position, made a daring 7 wide. Look at this photo Jarrett just flashed on the screen. Like Corey Heim's not even in a lit portion of the racetrack. His truck's like in the shadows compared to the rest of the field because you're not supposed to be down there. Look at there's smoke coming off his truck, debris, marbles. Corey Heim with fresh tires was able to race his way back to the lead and win the championship. So yeah, it's silly that it came down to that. Same thing we just had the conversation about Zilich. Corey Heim had the best truck series season we've ever seen by far. There's no reason he should have had to defend his title on a restart like that, but at least he did. It was a great moment, an exciting highlight, and Corey Heim is a Craftsman Truck Series champion. Third time was the charm. Jarrett, reaction to Heim Friday night, what'd you think?
That was badass as hell, and he shouldn't have had to have done that. He should have. That should have been for a race win 3 weeks after he'd wrapped it up. Like I'm
probably 6 weeks,
probably. But I mean, mathematically, officially,
yeah. That's what I was talking about.
I've asked the question. I'll see, like, why the hell does truck have playoffs? Like, it's such a short season compared to the other two. Like, we had our longest truck season ever at 25 races. You know, like there's always one or two guys that honestly should, usually one. At least it was badass to look at, but I'm pretty sure Connor Mozak was doing team orders, especially since he got called to the hauler, and we got really no follow-up on that either. See, it pissed me off because I got the other two races right, and Lane Riggs was well on his way to victory, and I would have had the whole weekend sweep. So I was like, damn. I'm like, that's going to bite me either by a sweep or I'm going to lose one or the other.
Well, fortunately for you, William Byron blew a tire and cost me my pick on Sunday, but we'll get to that in a moment. Danny, Heim time. Is it Heim o'clock?
It's an hour past Heim clock because we did daylight savings time actually.
Oh. Yeah.
And on Halloween night too. Halloween night with that win. It was like the least scary night for NASCAR. By the way,
they gave us a scare.
StreamYard actually gives us holiday theme ones. So like I actually had a holiday themed orange background for that night.
Whoa.
As ghosts in a cauldron.
Cool.
Can we do that for us? Can we become ghosts right now?
Huh?
Can we do that for us? Can we become ghosts right now?
I don't think we can. I mean, I guess we could dress up as the band.
What are you suggesting? Well, Corey Heim, big winner, 12 wins. I think, didn't we talk last week on the show? He led like over 40% of the laps this year.
Yeah. like an absurd, just absurd number.
Congratulations. And yes, I agree. Someone in the chat said, there's my 7 wide racing. Yes, we got it. Finally.
I literally put that in the itinerary. We got our 7 wide racing.
Finally.
That has been a meme for so long, and I'm gonna pop this sucker back on the screen again. Just Phoenix of all places.
Whoa!
I still don't know if I like this version of Phoenix or the old one when there was grass there and you couldn't do this stuff?
But there's the 7 wide racing.
I prefer the old one, but I've learned to live with this one, especially since like the lower series actually do race pretty decently here. It's just Cup that's been the problem. Like I've learned to live with it.
I know we're kind of in the middle of trucks, but I just got to say, out of all the series this year, I think the Xfinity series was probably my favorite one this year. Just overall, the storyline of watching Connor show us what he can do, even when he had to miss some races due to injury, and seeing guys step in his car and still win, showing how good that equipment truly was this season. It was just overall fun. The evolution of the big bully Austin Hill and ultimately what led to him getting in trouble. Guys, we had freaking Casey Kane come back on a Casey Kane Friday.
Oh yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Well, I want to say with the trucks too, I thought this season, and it wasn't just because it was like we saw a historical season. I thought the racing too and less carnage was better. I thought this truck season was probably the best since pre-COVID. Like I enjoyed this truck season a whole lot because even if Heim was leading, Fox was forced to actually show the rest of the pack when they were at the track, at least. Yeah, can I talk about that as well? The fact that the championship race for trucks and they're sitting in Charlotte, and here's Michael Waltrip being like, "Oh my God, guys, we're on Instagram here at Phoenix," and it's
that was the dumbest tweet. I was like, I can clearly tell what a massive studio is. That producer sitting 50 feet back from you back there.
I know I'm on the internet age, Michael, but I know what a TV looks like, and there's one right behind you. Like, we got 6 more years of this crap. Just sell it to the CW. But it was nothing for Prime.
Fox to send Jamie Little the day before to wherever that yacht was she was at.
No. I feel like at this point they like tell the people that work the races they have to pay for all their own travel, and they just choose to stay home.
Budget cuts. Jarrett, no, to your point, I thought this was a good truck season because I felt like we had some, dare I say it, some real blue collar racers like competing. Caden Honeycutt punching above his weight in Nice Motorsports equipment, moves over to Friesen and almost wins the title. Obviously, Heim, I know he's in a great truck, but we all know he deserves to be there. Blaine Riggs ended last year strong, picked right up where he left off and had a really solid 2025 season. Ty Majeski, we know he's a great short rate track racer. I felt like a lot of the drivers who are up front consistently, I know they're usually losing to Corey Heim, but it always felt like it was deserving drivers in the top 5, top 6 battling amongst themselves. And I can appreciate that because that's not always how the truck series, I guess, has felt.
And two drivers I want to like kind of also make sure we talk about. One, Matt Crafton wasn't the way he wanted to walk off, but still, like a hell of a career, one of the defining drivers of this series. And then Brent Cruz, man.
Oh yeah, okay,
he's going to be for real next year.
Great example of one of those like young guys here late in the year that just really came on strong. I felt like he almost could match Heim's pace until the transmission broke or something.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Lane Riggs the year he did part-time. And we're like, Lane Riggs is going to be pretty damn good next year. We should watch out for him. Cruz, the same thing. Like he's going to be really good.
I'll be interested to see what he's in next year because I thought there were some rumblings he could be in a Gibbs Xfinity car. I don't know if that ever came from a valid source or not. I frankly don't remember where I heard that. Maybe I read it somewhere. I don't even know. But if he's in like a Tricon truck,
I mean, I don't know if that really produced enough for them to keep him.
You'd think that he figured it out a little bit in the second half. But I have no idea. I don't know where Brent Cruz is going, but I hope he's full time in either a Tricon truck.
He should be back
or Taylor Gray. The last 2 races of the season really ran really well, especially. Truck Series, Corey Heim, Xfinity, Jesse Love, and the Cup Series champion, Kyle Larson, gets number 2. That was an eventful hour and 10 minutes to kick off the show, gentlemen. What do you say we get to our first Super Chat stage break?
There was one more champion crown this week.
Oh, I was hoping we could skip this.
Nah,
Can we save this for like, I don't know, after the show ends?
No, we got to let the people know.
Just say it, Jared. What do you got to say?
You're the host, man. Come on.
No,
read me into this.
I have finished second in these pick points 4 out of 5 years. I'm tired of it, Grandpa. I'm tired of it.
That's too damn bad. You
Damn
keep finishing runner up.
Eric Hamlin, everybody.
This is diabolical.
Well, Eric has a
so
title.
I do have a championship.
Oh, okay,
last
sorry.
year.
Well, Eric
And I
Hamlin
will-
last few years.
I will lord that over everyone until the end of time. But yes, for our listening audience, Jarrett is throwing up our final pick points. Sorry, Jared is throwing up, but I'm like, someone's going to clip that.
Based on what, 1 point. I can't believe it.
Chat, you come up. So, okay, for our listening audience, the final results of our weekly pick points. Danny comes in 4th. Chat, 1 point ahead, finishes 3rd. I finished
I even
2nd.
won one this weekend, and I couldn't get out of the basement.
I finished 2nd, 9 points behind Jarrett. So now all time, Jarrett has 2 championships. Chat has 2 championships. I've got the 1. Danny, perennial basement boy.
It's Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
The
Denny-
best
so
ever
here-
not to win one.
So Jarrett was lamenting the truck race because he had lane rigs and almost got that one right, and then things happened. If Denny Hamlin wins that race,
You win
I would be the 2-time
by
back-to-back
1
champion.
point.
But
You would have won by 1 point.
Denny's heart, like, who really had it worse this weekend? Let's be honest, Denny or me? I mean, I think we could have that debate. I think who's really down the worst right now?
What up,
I don't
Eric?
know.
We all know that.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm landed on too thick.
Danny, can I have for next year's premiere? Can I have that belt at least for that episode to lord it over everyone?
Sure, for one, but we're not going to let it just stay at your house like we did forever.
You got to beat him.
I'll just want it back in November at the end of the year. That's all.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you all for playing along, though. Chat. Remember, 2022 and 2023, I believe, went back to back. So, 2-year losing streak. Chat. Got to get.
One of
Gotta
these
get with the
days,
program
Danny
here.
B will rise from the ashes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the chat, we've gotten some super chats. It's time for our first super chat stage break. Thank you all so much for your very generous support. I'm going to try to get through a good chunk of these now, but we have a ton. So if I don't get to yours now, we will get to it at the end of the show. Stay tuned. Really appreciate it. Joshua Boston began the show. He averaged out my groovy gauges. He said during the Fox portion of the year, my average groovy gauge was 70%. During Prime, 76. TNT was also 70. NBC 74% for a 72.5% groovy gauge average for the season. Says it's very decent. Thank you for doing that math, Joshua. That's interesting to look back. Says my checkered flag of 2025 was being up at Kansas Speedway for my first ever race. Had a great time, but my black flag has to be the playoffs. Hopefully full season points return next year. And then he adds, for the final super chat stage break, congrats to 2-time Cup champion Kyle Larson. Here's to looking forward to another exciting season of racing next year. I'll see you then. Have a great offseason, guys. Thank you, Joshua. And thank you to Jeffrey King, who hit us with a few super chats here. To all Denny fans, I want to encourage you to let Hamlin know on social media how much you want him back next year. Also, enjoy every individual race win. And he also says Larson pulled a Jimmy from 2016 in the end, instead of a 2017, but he is on a 24 race winless spell. I bet he goes 5 more races and wins the 6th race of next season. What's the 6th race next season? Like Bristol? Interesting.
Darlington?
Jeffrey also says, Danny B, I agree with 90% of your takes, and I don't hate Bowman, but you put Elliott and Bowman together a lot. Wins 2025. Larson had 3, Byron had 3, Elliott 2, and Bowman had 0. Damn. Jeffrey going after your guy, Danny. I was trying to figure out where that was going.
I know Bowman sucks. He ain't telling me nothing. I don't know.
Alex
Listen, I
Luff
root
says,
for the Ball. I root for the Titans. I root for Alex Bowman. I know what it's like to get your heart broken. I ain't no pain to danger here.
oh, this is a
Darlington's
good
race 6, by the way.
Okay, Larson, if he doesn't wreck on lap 4, he could win that. Alex Luft says, forget the sound of silence meme. At this point, Denny Hamlin fans are listening to Metallica's The Day That Never Comes.
Oh,
That's
God.
a deep cut there. Calypso says you should have finished that novel, Mr. Lundberg. Otherwise, I wouldn't have flattened Byron's tire. Enjoy the pain. There's many more to be had. That saved your season, though, Jarrett, in our pick points.
Calypso can influence the tires now.
She's all seeing.
I mean, this is the
got
first
us
time
some-
since 93, I think it was, that we didn't have any races delayed to the next day in any of the top series. So
Calypso's losing her power.
grasping at straws.
Garabuki says, let's put but Larson had the most points argument to bed. Denny won double the number of races. So under this format, he had more weeks to coast. Larson was always racing for points. Full season, they'd race differently. I mean, Hamlin had 2 weeks to coast. So I don't know if that would have made all the points difference.
They would have raced different though.
No, they would race different. It's no guarantee Larson would have won the most points, but this is what I was trying to avoid. Like, to discredit Larson's season. I mean, Denny was like 6th or 7th in the full season points. I don't know that they'd be that much closer together, even if they were racing different.
He probably, I'll be honest, he probably would have found a way to be in Mexico after his kid was born.
But he sucks at Mexico. So he might have gotten 10 points there.
Or 20. I mean, if he finishes 17th, I think that's 20 points, right? Yeah.
So, okay. He would have been 5th in full season points. We're not discrediting.
You never know
Larson.
How it'll end.
I'm not going to stand for people saying Larson didn't have a great season. Like, let's be real here. Tyler Dotson says, honestly, with all the BS going on, I've become kind of disenfranchised with NASCAR. And after what happened to Connor, I didn't care. I would miss Sunday's race, and honestly, not looking forward to next season. I think a lot of fans are exhausted right now. I was texting you guys this. I feel like both with Denny Hamlin and when it comes with most fans, I think when NASCAR announces the new format, probably in January would be my guess, maybe a little bit sooner, especially if it's full season or even a very simplified 10 race chase. I believe for some fans, there will be a sudden rejuvenated optimism. I see it in the metrics every year. People were screaming about how done they were with NASCAR after Logano's title. And then in January 1st, buzz started coming. I'm not saying all those fans came back. Some may have stayed away for good. That's fair. But as soon as the calendar flipped to January, there was, once again, some excitement for the new season around the corner. I think with the new format, that excitement will come back this year as well. But right now, everyone's burned. I'm burned out. Shoot.
I think knowing that format's coming, I think saved us from an even worse explosion. Because people probably at least know something will change.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Alex says, thank you guys for a fantastic show. It's helped me forget about the worries of life most Wednesday nights this year. Please keep up the great work. Merry off season and happy Christmas. Thank you, Alex. Very kind of you to say. Speedy Racing jumps in with a few, says, sorry, I haven't been on the last few weeks. Go Larson. I won't be on later, but I'm guessing Eric won the pick points. I did not. Question, if you could see any 5 NASCAR races ever, what would they be? Keep up the good work. Also says, as a Larson fan, 2 laps to go, my heart rate was 160. I can believe that. Danny, what's one race you wish you could have seen in person?
The 2007 Daytona 500.
Ooh. Those flash bulbs going off as they cross the line. I miss that shot. Jarrett, what about you?
98 Daytona 500. And I think I would have said 01 Pepsi 400 if my grandpa hadn't been at the 98 500 and told me what it was like in person in very, very excruciating detail, to the point where I was like, oh man, I feel like I missed out. Damn me for being 3 months old.
That's a really good one, honestly. I would pick like a Matt Kenseth win probably, because I never saw him win a cup race in person, but 98 500 or even the 01 400, the 01 Pepsi 400. I think I might pick that as well. You could, like you were saying, you kind of interchangeable those.
I guess since I haven't been to a Bowman or junior win, I'd pick one of those. For a Bowman, I wish I was there at Martinsville in 21. I know, Jarrett, you were there for that one.
Yeah, that was wild. That was like that was amazing to be at. I know a lot of people, Martinsville 15 is in there, and I was at that one too. And that was there's a few races where you kind of just know when you're there about like maybe 20% of the way in, you're like, this one could be something special. And like 2015 Martinsville was like that. 2012 at Michigan was like that. 2019, I know people didn't like it, but the 2019 Xfinity race though at Homestead, that was nuts in person to see when they were like 3 wide racing for second. Bell was trying to run away from it.
2019, you said? Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I think we were standing in Reddick's pit stall for that.
That was a fun one.
And like, and you know me, like very cynical about the playoffs, and they're racing 3 wide. And I think at one point I turned to you, Eric, and I'm like, holy effing shit. You're like, I don't know.
That was crazy.
Like, it was.
I just remember
nuts.
Reddick winning, and his car after the race, just the right side was blue from the Homestead walls. It was just insane. They were going all out.
Was that the one where he destroyed the back of the car when the burnout, or like hit or
Probably.
like ripped the flag up or something? Like,
Yes, I think he
didn't stick
did.
around for that one after the fact. Like we literally watched that one, and then Claudia and I also had tickets to go see the Miami Heat that night. So we went from the racetrack to the basketball game.
it was
Wow.
insane down
Good
in the
times.
infield and then on the front. Like, it was nuts. And that was awesome.
A few more. I know this is a longer stage break, but we did get a lot of super chats
It's the end
tonight.
of the year, man. It's the end of the year.
Sloth Nerd says, first, hashtag full season championship. Second, who is most likely to lose their ride after next year, Cindric or Bowman?
Both.
Bowman, at least in the metrics, raced decently. Whereas like Cindric, now that he doesn't have his like safety net, like
I mean,
exactly race good.
If I'm being honest, I put them both. I think Bowman's probably in a good chance to take over his Cindric's ride.
So I think Alex Bowman is better. I think I would actually say Bowman's slightly better, but I also think Hendrick has better prospects waiting in the wings, perhaps, or also has the cash to just go buy the best free agent. Whereas Penske, not saying they obviously got money too, but I could see Hendrick. I don't know. That's a good question.
Well,
Maybe a good offseason debate.
Because Penske doesn't have a development system anymore, that's why I would say they would probably take a chance on a veteran in Bowman, you know, who's still young, has a lot of years ahead of him, you know.
If there is no rumor out by like April or May that Cindric is on the hot seat, he's going to be in that ride as long as he wants. Like, how can he not be on the hot seat at this point? Like, what has he done in that car that's that substantial?
That Gateway win was impressive, but that's it.
Someone asked, did his teammate run out of gas for that?
That's true. Never mind. Good point. It's still impressive.
It was.
Bowman has Ally, or that's a Hendrick thing. That's a Hendrick thing because they were there before with Jimmy.
But they do like Bowman.
They do like Alex.
Andrea, I think, or Andrea, whatever her name is. I think that's her name.
But they're also very close to the Hendrick Automotive family. I don't see them going to Penske.
Could totally see it being like, hey, we know you like Alex, but like, if we spent the money, would you like this kid named Connor? We can buy the other ones out.
Ross Chastain to the 48.
There's no way Rick Hendrick would even put. I feel like
he's a changed man. I don't think Chastain. Oh no, he wrecked Chase Elliott at Coda. I do remember that. That happened not that long ago.
He's still got a little bit of that 22 Ross in there somewhere. He's got to dig down for it.
If Daniel Suarez and Michael McDowell could become teammates, Rick Hendrick would have a short memory. I think Ross is really
well.
Anyway.
Then they tag team Hocevar. I want to see. I want to be in that meeting room.
All right, I want to do a few more here. I know there's a lot. Try to go quick here. Sorry. Joseph Doherty. Oh my gosh, sorry. Thank you, Joseph. Sent 2 super chats. First, new points format idea: full 36 races. However, last 10 are double points. Additionally, the season finale is worth triple. Prohibit someone from clinching the cup early. That is interesting. Then says no stage points, no points resets. Format is simple enough for new fans to understand. Keep things entertaining and fair. I posted a video on my channel where I elaborate on it. Watch it. I like the please watch it, but just watch it. Okay, Joseph. Jeez, Joseph. Look at me. Well, I'll check it out after the show. I'm not a huge fan of double, triple points, making like some races far more important than others in the grand scheme of things, but it is a simpler format than we have now, at least. So there's something there. I'll do a few more here. We're going to do 5 more. Blake Thiemann, Blake, thank you. It says, great season, guys. What was your favorite paint scheme this year? Also very ironic, your missing rings Denny video today was exactly 11 minutes. Jarrett, did you plan that on purpose?
It was like 11:02, and I was like, I can find 2 seconds of this video to shave off.
Oh, that's hilarious. Favorite paint scheme this year? I would say, I'm Texas bias here, but the guy that wrecked Chase Elliott at Coda was driving a pretty cool Texas themed Busch Light scheme. I really like that Chastain car.
I kind of like the tide ride that McDowell had this weekend.
Oh, that one was good too. That was very good too. Danny, any jump out to you right away?
I mean, it's tough to get a good tide ride. I'm trying to think of any others that really was a favorite. Was it this year that there was a really good Mountain Dew and Doritos or something like that? Or was that last year?
Was it like a Cheeto or no?
Was that last year?
I think there was a Mountain Dew car this year too, but I could be wrong.
There was a Mountain Dew car, I think.
That RFK ran, they eat my Cinnadust.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, that's a really good one.
Yeah, good choices there.
I guess they really, I think, have gotten a hang of these schemes, like, and making them pop more. Like, I think I had mentioned at Martinsville, like Logano's scheme, like it looked like it was brighter than usual. Like the schemes this year, I thought looked a lot better than the last couple.
You know what? I think I got one. Kyle Busch's 7-Eleven car.
Ooh,
that was at Texas, right?
And his Slurpee one was also good too.
Yeah.
Good choices. Napa Racing fan says, Denny Hamlin, quote, "You can run the perfect race and then boom, that's true in racing and in life."
Oh,
National debt relief commercials.
Oh,
Leah Ryan says, sorry, but as an avid Larson hater, Denny deserves the championship more than, called Larson a not so nice name. Love y'all show, by the way.
well, thank you.
Thank you, Leah. But no, not everyone's a Larson fan. I get that. Soupy Spirit says, hey, Dennis, Kyle Larson beat your favorite driver. Denny fans need to move on. Boo-hoo, he came up short. Ooh, Soupy Spirit is not having any of the 11 fan tears. He is sipping on them right now. Finally, from A Prada here, this will be our last one of this first super chat. Very generous super chat from A Prada says, Jeff Gordon was the first sacrificial lamb in 2014. Since then, over 10 title caliber teams across the 3 series have been wiped from the record, including Connor's 2025 season. Everyone who hated this format in January 14 has been vindicated. Well, those first couple years, especially of the format, were that was not even a mother could love those first 3 years. But it's been divisive ever since. Thank you all for those super chats. We will get to the rest. There have been a lot. I know we will get to the rest of them at the end of the show, but we have some more topics we'd like to get to. Thank you for the support. But let's get into the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, what do you got for us one final time? What's up?
Well, a few things. First off, we got the NWP channel that we'll put different stuff on. Probably I was thinking, honestly, this offseason at some point, maybe dropping just a mega video of all the random driver of the weeks, all just spliced together.
Oh my God.
Like make a 3-hour video out of it. People can just watch and listen to in their free time or something. I might do that because just a lot of people, a lot of new people.
Just don't clip out our low lights, please. Make people have to work to find them. That's all I ask.
So there's that. Freeway Insurance will be the 4th premier NASCAR partner, as well as titling a race, and will be present on the Choose Cone, according to Adam Stern. So I'm surprised that has not been sponsored till now.
If there's any real estate, NASCAR will find a way to slap a sticker on it. That is a fact.
Tied on pit road. Everything is tied.
That was a lot of orange this weekend for sure.
This next one, you need to read it exactly how you spelled it.
Jimmy Johnson, not Jamie Johnson. Jimmy Johnson will race the 84 Legacy Toyota in the inaugural San Diego street race. Is it really a street race, or is it just like a base race?
I mean, it's not on a pre-built racetrack, so it's a street race.
Okay. Well, he will be racing. And it might be in a truck too, based on some of the rumors and
teasing that photo. What was that photo supposed to mean?
Do you guys remember who the owner of that truck was?
Yes, Randy Moss.
Correct. Yes, the only truck start Jimmy Johnson has had to this point. Randy Moss was the team owner. Skull. And then just reminding you all that season 9 premieres January 28th on my channel, so that should be a lot of fun. Just never can be too early.
Yeah, I was gonna say this off season, we're 3 days in,
and maybe we'll pop up if the lawsuit pops up.
Yeah, we might do like a Christmas special. We're still weighing our checking our schedules.
We're all gonna dress as Santa Claus.
We're gonna ask the chat to grade us on the naughty or nice list.
No, don't get them started.
But that'll do it for the lightning round.
The lightning round. Heck yeah, good stuff. That was quick, like a flash of lightning. We've got some headlines to wrap up our final show of the season. Been a busy few days. I didn't even see this news. Is this true that I'm seeing that Halmar Friesen said they're going to field 2 full trucks next year?
Yes,
that's big. We'll see if I don't know what Stuart Friesen. He was at Phoenix this weekend.
He looked a little better. What I saw of him.
Yeah, I don't know what his condition is. Obviously, I think he wants to get back to racing after that horrible crash this summer, but timetable I think is still TBD. William Byron's, one of his lead engineers, Brandon McSwain, is moving over to Trackhouse. Will be Ross Chastain's crew chief next year. That's 2 new crew chiefs joining the house. We knew about Randall Burnett joining Connor Zilich's unknown numbered team for next season. So you'll have Burnett and McSwain under the Trackhouse roof. Phil Surgeon, it sounds like, will still be with the team in a different capacity. But Danny, what's your reaction to Chastain's
It
new crew
feels
chief?
like when a offensive or defensive coordinator from some team randomly gets a shot to be a head coach. So interesting to see how this all works out for them. I know we've seen a lot of times people will promote like a Xfinity crew chief or something like that, but to see someone going from being like an engineer or car chief and then step into like a crew chief role is always an interesting decision.
It's interesting because he's not like James Small was like the lead engineer for some of the Cole Pern teams. And so when Pern retires, it made sense to promote him. But this is an outside guy coming from Hendrick into Trackhouse. So it'll be interesting to see how they fit in that respect.
Yeah, I'm interested. I want to see maybe what new ideas, maybe rejuvenate a little bit, be better at every track that's not a mile and a half. Because like they were good at mile and a half this year. They're really good at mile and a half. So it was just like everything else.
Yeah. It was a really good season for Ross in many ways. Made the playoffs after missing them last season, won the Coca-Cola 600, which is huge. But like laps led was the stat that jumped out to me. He led over 300 laps last season, only 80 laps led this season. So the speed was the question most of the year. Is Brandon McSwain going to fix all that? Time will tell. But hey, if you're going to pluck, like, to Danny's analogy, if you're going to pluck a coordinator, you'd like to take one from, Andy Reid's coaching tree as opposed to, I don't know, the Houston Texans coaching tree. I'll just say that. And the 24 team, Hendrick Motorsports, it's a good place to go pluck a coordinator, let's say, from. So hopefully this McSwain does well. News, this was over the weekend. It's now confirmed that NASCAR will allow Cup Series drivers with 3 or more years of experience to make up to 10 O'Reilly Auto Parts Series starts next year. And up to
if you're below
8
that, isn't it like
Craftsman-
way more? I don't remember what the number is.
if you're like Connor Zilich, let's say,
Yeah.
you might be allowed a lot more. I don't actually know what the number is, but anyway, this year, the past few years, you've been allowed 5 Xfinity races each. So it's going up to 8 trucks, 10 Xfinity or O'Reilly. I believe Ross Chastain, the aforementioned Ross Chastain, was the only driver to max out both of his attempts for this season. Like Kyle Busch did 5 truck races, but didn't do any Xfinity. I think Hocevar did a few truck races and might have done an Xfinity race or 2. I'm not 100% sure. So I don't know. What do you guys think? My take is I don't mind a few more cup guys in these races, but I also don't think that I don't think we're at risk of creating a new bushwhacking era. Let me put it that way.
I really like not having cup guys down there as much. I worry about anything that can open the door for bushwhacking, even though I don't think we're going to get that either. But I think we need to read more between the lines. Why are they doing this? Why are they wanting more cup guys down there? Everyone talks about sponsorship. We've seen a lot of Xfinity teams either fold or downsize in recent years. Is the Xfinity, I'm just asking, is the Xfinity series in as good of a position as maybe we were initially led to believe? Because especially them, the truck series, we already know their problems. But it just makes me think they want to have some cup guys down there to sell more sponsorship for different teams.
I mean, this is no offense to our new partner, O'Reilly, but what I've known about O'Reilly in the past is they have on times been a little bit more restrictive in their marketing spending. I don't think that I think Xfinity is the one who decided to step down. I don't think it was necessarily that O'Reilly bought them out. So I'm not going to say there was a huge money factor that drove into O'Reilly. So a little bit more eyes, a little bit more reason to be around it is not necessarily a bad thing for this series. But also on that same note, since we're allowing more opportunities for a couple guys to drive in this series, this makes me also think more we are going to a championship format that's not impacted as much by winning you're in, that we're not necessarily taking away wins from these guys in that series by having these guys in the races more often.
Joshua in the chat says Dale Jr.'s reasons yesterday were on point. I have not seen the Dale Jr.
What were
download this
those?
week. Yes, if chat could kind of summarize what he said, because my initial thought was, okay, Cup guys could help you sell additional sponsorship for select races. Like you look at Joe Gibbs Racing this year, most of their seats were taken up by pay drivers. Let's be honest. Not saying they don't talent, but like even Taylor Gray, who we like, I believe he brings some money to that seat. Junior Motorsports. I mean, there's for a moment it looked like Carson Quapple wasn't going to go full time next year because of funding issues. That seems to have changed, but still funding, even for the top dogs in the Xfinity series, they need funded drivers.
Like Brandon Jones.
Joshua says star power mostly. I think there's some truth to that as well. Like I think NASCAR is really encouraged by the ratings of the Xfinity series this year. And I think they're hoping maybe a few more races with an Elliott or a Larson behind the wheel might boost those even more. I don't know if that's going to work.
Or a Zilich. I mean, Zilich, there's some real steam to the Zilich superstar hype train. Like the kid's so young,
Sure.
He's already done so much. The motorsports world is like aware. Like I was watching David Land's Unverified, was it last night or 2 nights ago or whatever? And they were talking about how like 4 or 5 years ago with like the karting scene, Connor was there, and he's like ascended in that 4 or 5 years from karting to what he's doing today.
Yeah.
And then the possibility that not next year, but the year after, he could do the double. So like Connor is a real star that like has that potential. And I think that they want to probably capitalize more on that too.
The fact that Connor became well known for what happened to him at Watkins Glen, but then still followed up by just continuing to win and dominate the sport is really good, because it got a lot of people to at least know his name, and the fact that he kept winning is really good. That you don't just have someone who's famous for only one thing.
And he's going to run. He's got a Rolex 24 watch already, and it sounds like he's going to test and potentially compete in this year's or this upcoming.
Yeah, because he was in the lower class before, but I think he's looking at the big one. The biggest.
He might
class.
be in the GTP class.
But
yeah. So
add in the Red Bull side of it too. I mean,
Yeah.
Red Bull is a brand that can get you anywhere, and he's that young. He's gonna be big.
With
sure.
Red Bull, that's a huge name in motorsports in general because of where they're at in F1 right now. But to SVG's credit, he's a big part of that, but so is Connor.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we can move on and briefly talk about NASCAR. Some updates this week. So there's been a lot of documents. About a week ago, a lot of documents surfaced. I don't know if we want to get into that too much. I know we had some of that in our notes here.
It's just some fun stuff, but there's some other stuff more important.
Some of the fun stuff that did come out. There was a list of tracks from, I think this was back in like 2019, somewhere around pandemic era, where NASCAR was looking at new markets they could break into, and had listed a race around Soldier Field in Chicago, which I think I remember that being reported on before the street race ever got off the ground. Long Beach, which we all kind of theorized could be a thing.
They tried to buy it.
Yeah,
they tried to buy in
Toronto, which we all have been hoping for, as well as Montreal, of course. But there was also mention of a dirt track at the Meadowlands, New Jersey. That would have been crazy, I guess. I don't know how realistic that would have been. I don't know anything about
2019, right? I mean, there's a lot of hype for like getting, especially after what Eldora had been for a few years in trucks and the dirt races before Bristol Dirt. So maybe that was the first idea, is like, let's do something different. I think that'd be a miss, honestly, just because I think dirt racing is such a niche, diehard, but niche side in the broader landscape. But it'd be interesting. Where would they do it? Would they do it like in the stadium, in the parking lot? Like, where the hell would they do that?
That's a great question. Obviously, one they never got an answer to, and it didn't happen, at least not yet. There was also mention, I didn't read too much into this, but there's something about a NASCAR, IndyCar sort of like negotiating jointly a new TV or media deal that must not have gone very far.
It didn't get off the ground from what Herbst had said.
But the big news was this week in terms of the actual lawsuit going into potentially next month's trial. Yesterday, Judge Kenneth Bell ruled on the summary judgment hearing from a couple weeks ago and essentially officially defined the market in question as premier stock car racing. So NASCAR up to this point, one of their core arguments have been like, hey, how can we be a monopoly when these teams, they could go race an IndyCar or F1 or NHRA or this, that, like, and the teams meanwhile have tried to argue, well, hey, those are completely different. We're talking about stock car racing. NASCAR is a monopoly over stock car racing. That's how they've been back and forth. Essentially, Judge Bell said, yeah, okay, going forward, the market's stock car racing. And so if we go to trial next month, the question won't be, hey, or I guess NASCAR won't be able to use the argument that the teams can just go run another racing series, because that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the stock car racing market. Does NASCAR have a monopoly? Have they used that monopoly power to disenfranchise the teams? Those will now be the questions. So one of NASCAR's big arguments that they have been trying to make over the past many, many months is essentially off the table. So a win for the teams going into December 1st trial date, unless they manage to settle ahead of time. You got to believe NASCAR is now even more inclined to try and settle this deal, which means the teams have even more leverage. So if they do find a resolution before December, I imagine it'll be NASCAR forced to make a few additional concessions. Reactions to that, gentlemen? I know none of us here are legal experts, but we do obviously follow NASCAR very closely. So what did you think of that?
I know some people want to be like, there's someone who said Cars Tour is open, but it's like, yes, that's a big major form of late model racing, but it's not NASCAR. I like it. It's a good organization, but it's not NASCAR,
Well, we got 26 days till December 1st, right? I mean, we got, I think like the pretrial stuff starts a week from today, like December 12th, is it? Or November 12th, I mean. So it's not cutting time right now. And I think that I think push come to shove, NASCAR, if they really, really want to settle, they're going to have to give up a lot more than they're willing to right now. And I know that's like kind of obvious, but I mean more just like more than I think if we were to think on face value of options for things to give up on or to like give in on, they're probably it's going to make NASCAR execs uncomfortable. So kind of what I brought up earlier, whether it be with the format, whether it be with the lawsuit, like the ratings, especially too, NASCAR leadership, I think is in full blown panic mode right now. And whether it be lawsuit, format, ratings, whatever, I think we're going to see a completely different NASCAR in 2026 and beyond at this rate.
I think it's just the question is, what does that look like? Because it sounds like, according to Jordan Bianchi of The Athletic, both sides essentially agreed during their settlement talks a couple weeks ago to, make charters close to permanent. They agreed to give 2311 and Front Row back the charters they used to own. They agreed to some pretty basic stuff that I think were clear concessions being made by NASCAR to benefit not just those two teams, but all the race teams in the NASCAR Cup Series. The question, the debate was then over who pays the legal fees, which apparently are up close to $100 million now total, which is insane. So if it comes down to simply just money, not like long-term business model stuff, but just, hey, who pays this off right here, right now? I feel like at some point NASCAR might just end up having to eat most of that. I don't know, but maybe NASCAR really feels that strongly about their case that they can still, because 2311 Front Row may be able to prove that NASCAR has a monopoly over premier stock car racing, but that in and itself won't win them the case. I think they would then have to still prove that they have been harmed by NASCAR, and NASCAR can say, well, hey, we gave you more of the TV money this year. We've raised the purses. We've done this, that. We're willing to concede permanent charters to some extent. Like NASCAR could still argue that they are helping the teams. So, NASCAR may still feel very strongly that they can win this case and don't want to concede, because it could cost them hundreds of millions of dollars if they were to resolve this ahead of time.
I just think how they're fighting, not tooth and nail to like beat the teams, but now fighting just to settle. And basically they're on full blown defense mode right now. I think that's more where I'm looking at, like, there might be more to this than the teams and everyone's let on. I know when people ask Denny, and granted, he's going to grandstand and pump his chest, but like when they asked him about it this past weekend, he's like, we're not even close. And I was like, okay, like, so look in the middle here. One side is saying they're close, another side saying they're not close. They're probably somewhere in the middle at this point, but it's probably more than just, I think at this point, I think it'd be more than just legal fees though, as well. I mean, I know the big money is big money.
I agree with John Bowen. He said only winners in this lawsuit are the lawyers at this point because they are raking it in.
That is true.
Yeah, the lawyers are going to get paid. They're going to, but I don't know. A week ago when you're looking at all of the reporting, you're like, okay, they're probably going to settle this thing out, and it's, they're probably not going to learn too much, and then just stuff keeps coming out, and then just keeps going another day and another day, and we just keep getting closer and closer and closer and closer. Eventually, we're going to hit December 1st.
And stuff's coming out this week now too. That like Rick, I don't remember the name. Some of the owners, I want to say Hendrick
and Penske.
Several high-profile team owners have been, I don't know what the verbiage would be, but have been listed as potential witnesses in the trial, which is the last thing those team owners want to be. That's the last position they want to be put in, is on the stand under oath, having to discuss the intricate business model of NASCAR. That's the last thing they want. So I do feel, while I think 2311 and Front Row, especially with this latest ruling, have a lot of leverage, I do think they are going to begin facing more and more pressure from the other 13 charter owners who are just like, hey, you've gotten us the permanent charters. You got us like get a resolution done. Like, you guys are 90% of the way there. Get it done. We do not want to be deposed in court. We don't want to be on the stand in 4 weeks. Like, I think there could still be some pressure, not just from NASCAR, but actually from the other owners to Michael Jordan and company, to be like, hey, you're basically there. Figure it out. So I'll be interested to see where this goes. But yeah, it's the big offseason storyline until it's not, I guess. That's where we are with the lawsuit. We don't have predictions tonight in terms of race predictions. There is no race, sadly. Going to have a few weeks off. But we can still make our broader show predictions like we do every single week. Each host will make 2 NASCAR, motorsports, or show-related predictions. We keep track of these each week in our accountability session, and we try to keep them contained to the next year or 2. It's the end of the season, Jarrett, so I imagine a lot of season-long predictions came off the board for each of us. Who is going first?
Danny.
Okay, not terrible. Only a few. Danny correctly predicted that every Cup race Alex Bowman scores a pole in during 2025 will be won by Kyle Larson. How many times did Bowman win a pole this year?
2.
Twice.
And they were both won by Larson? That must be
Bristol
crazy. That's
and
crazy.
Yeah, Danny made this prediction right after that happened. So he gave like a good 2/3 or so of the season for this one to be knocked off. So pretty good.
It never happened again, so I was safe, but
Still, there was a lot of ways this one could have been knocked off the board. So good one.
Yeah.
And then Danny incorrectly predicted that Kyle Busch would win a race. Also, that a NASCAR driver will make the news for being pulled over for speeding. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Also predicted Zilich would win the Xfinity title. Predicted that a while ago. Yeah, sad times. And then also predicted that all the champions would also win the races in Phoenix. And yeah, that did not work out either. Who's next? Oh, that's a lot of red. It's a bloodbath here. 0 for 5 for yours truly. I predicted that a legacy driver would finish 23rd or better in the points. Damn, they fell off the end of this year.
24th and 25th.
Oh, you're kidding me. That's crazy.
I was watching it and it was like keeping track during the race. I'm like, there is no way it's going to end that way. And it did.
I don't remember predicting this next one, but I said that another NASCAR team would like join on the lawsuit by the end of this year. I mean, the year's not over, so I guess that's still not.
They're trying to get
meant by the end of the season.
A witness, so who knows?
But it's unlikely to happen for sure. Said we'd get exactly 1 non-playoff winner. How many did we get? Any non-play? I guess Blaney. Wait, Blaney was 1. Who else?
You had said that ones that made like ones that hadn't made the playoffs.
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh, so they weren't in it at all.
I predicted Blaney would lead the most laps in the Phoenix finale. He did not, but he did lead the most important one. And I thought Hyman Zilich would lead the most laps in their respective races. Zilich, I'm sure, did not. So
no.
Tough week for me. Jarrett. Oh my gosh, Jarrett.
I had to make the font smaller.
Its print is so small. All right, you correctly said that Colleague would not win any races this year in any level. That's correct.
Which
said
is crazy considering they have a decent shot on road courses a lot of times.
Also predicted correctly that the last 2 races of the year would have different winners. Yes. Heim and or Zilich will not win their respective championships. I saw that one coming from a mile away when you predicted. I'm like, yep, that's he's going to get that. Something silly's going to happen. Jarrett was incorrect, though, saying that Tony Stewart would cause some controversy this year. I guess that didn't really happen. Nothing major. Said overall Cup TV ratings would be down 12% year over year. They were down 14%. Said there will be a 2025 race with triple overtime. We didn't get there. Said there would be a 2025 finish closer than 0.01 seconds. No true photo finishes this year. A few close calls. Cup champion would finish top 5 at Gateway. I guess Kyle Larson was not in the top 5 at Gateway.
It was like 6th or something. Denny was top 5. I would have had it with Denny.
Predicted that the last 3 NBC races would be down 10% or more in ratings. I think they were down 5 to 6. And then
Something
the
like
pick
that,
point title gap would be 8 points or less. We wound up being 9 points separated. So some very close calls there for Jarrett.
So close.
My voice is tired after reading through all of that. But we got to make some new predictions. The season may be over, but these predictions go on year after year after year after year.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got
we got the scores. Oh, goodness, yes.
I
For the
do win
season,
something for the year.
Danny wins the prediction segment for the year. Guess who finished second, boys and girls? And Jarrett ends up third. Pretty close for all
It's
three
still
of us.
crazy that I ended up winning it this year, and I at one point was in like single-digit percentage.
Well, we did give you a few layups early in the year to like give you the it was like the rubber band effect in NASCAR video games.
Yeah.
Jarrett is still leading the all-time standings. All right, who goes first tonight? Who's got their first prediction? Is it Danny still, or someone else?
It's Danny.
Okay, go for it.
This is very early, and we have a whole season next year for me to be wrong on this. Consider some bulletin board material, but Ty Gibbs will not win a race in 2026.
Wow, we're coming
right.
out swinging.
That's a good one. Okay, speaking of bulletin board material, that inspires my next one here. Did y'all see that graphic today? BetMGM already has championship odds for 2026. We don't even know the format, and yet Connor Zilich, rookie in a Trackhouse car, has the 6th best odds to win the title, tied with Chase Briscoe and Chase Elliott. Ahead of Jiggly Logano, ahead of Tyler Reddick, ahead of I don't know how betting works, so I'm sure BetMGM is just fudging the numbers to benefit the house. I don't know, but my prediction is that Connor Zilich will not finish top 10 in points next year.
Yeah, I'm not willing to touch anything relating to if I think Connor will win next year or not, because this is exactly why I'm now saying Ty Gibbs will not win a race this year.
I'll put this. NASCAR's new points format will have one or less elimination / cutoffs. It's either going to be a 10-race chase, some new version of it, or full season. I don't see them doing elimination at this point. I think if they hadn't already been scared off, this weekend probably did it in a lot of ways.
Yeah. All right, Danny, what's your last one?
I think people asking this earlier, and it's kind of a good one. I'm not willing to say Connor Zilich will be in the 6-7 car because 2311 has been using that one actually for the last couple of years. I don't think they're just going to take that all of a sudden. But I will say, I don't have a specific one. It could be what he's ran this year. Connor Zilich's number will be something in the 80s. He's not going to use a 99.
I hope it's 87. I want to see him build his own number and kind of legacy.
I would agree.
It's going to be something in the 80s.
All right, I just checked to be sure. It's Wednesday night, y'all, and Denny Hamlin has still not posted Actions Detrimental. My prediction is that he will not post an episode of Actions Detrimental until at least Saturday. So basically, Monday, Friday, or Thursday, Friday, he will not post it. So it'll be at least the weekend or later until Denny posts another Actions Detrimental. Give him some space. Give him some time.
So I watched the 2025 and 2024 State of the Sport addresses, and I noticed that Steve Phelps, he addresses certain reporters like by name and by not, and sometimes I kept track, and it was like both years kind of differed back and forth. This year he addressed more than most by their name, whereas last year he didn't. So I'm going to say this. In the 2026 State of the Sport address, Steve Phelps will address the majority, so at least one more than half or more of the questions asked by the reporter or person's name that asked the question. So whether it's Eric, whether it's Jenna Fryer asking if it's rigged by speeding like she did this past weekend,
that was a
banner
wild
weekend.
I did see she got a talking to by some folks from NASCAR for that question.
I saw another clip of hers. She did not have a banner weekend, that is for sure. But I think that he will address most of them, majority at least, by their name. Like, that was a good question.
Prediction, Jarrett.
Yeah, but we got to have some fun with these things, man. If
Is
we just
this
do
fun
like the
or is
same
this
one-
just like okay? Yeah, I guess that's true. It's different. This is
we
unique.
can't just do the same like, oh yeah, so and so will win, or so and so will this, or there'll be 2 or 3 or 4 DNFs and this. Like, we gotta have fun with some of them. You guys have had some great ones. I need to jump in on the fun. This is fun. We're having fun.
That's a different one. I'll give you that one. All
Yeah,
right. Well,
man.
the predictions will continue into next year. Again, we don't have race predictions, but we do have 2 more fun segments left. Our next fun segment, of course, is an old favorite. It's time for our final random driver of the week segment in the big 2025. I have locked up the season-long title here, but Danny, I think, has gotten 1 or 2 in a row now. So trying to go out on a streak. Derek's going to give us some clues. I'm going to hide the chat. So will Danny, so we can't cheat. And let's see who gets this random driver.
By the way, I just want to clarify one of my predictions. My Ty Gibbs is to not win a cup race. I need to specify that. I'm not counting him out to just randomly show up in an Xfinity race or something like that.
Good point.
Go crash Brandon Jones at Martinsville or something. So yeah, Eric leads 33-31 over Danny all time. And Danny does have 2 in a row with Norm Benning and Scott Wimmer. Eric has 2 of the last 5 with Aaron Crocker and BJ McLeod. And Michael Marutz got Stacy Compton as the redemption pick. So this random driver is known more by their middle name. Well, we're not going to have Eric blow 2 of his guesses.
Dale
right off the
Earnhardt
bat.
Jr.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is.
All right, I had to take a shot. All right, I'm saving my others.
I mean, it was the obvious one, but
I know. I couldn't let that slide. I'm sure the chat guessed it too.
That would have been your new record for sure.
That's why I was taking a swing.
This random driver has the same first name as his father.
Oh.
Are you sure?
Can I have a hint or a second try? I really believe it.
This random driver actually spent time in their early racing or in his early racing career racing on ice. Ice racing. It's a thing.
Oh, I know it is. Is this like snowmobile racing too? Is this a spinoff?
Remember there was supposed to be an ice race in the European series.
I do remember that.
So
wild.
I did find out this random driver is Roman Catholic. So
nice.
Yeah. This random driver majored in business in college.
So he did go to college
to get more knowledge.
This random driver is well known in the garage area for being a fan of power metal.
Power metal?
Mm-hmm.
Spinoff of like hair metal. What's a power metal band?
This what?
What is power metal? What is that?
Just wait.
Is it like big? Like is it like? I don't know. I don't know who would be.
Use it in a sentence.
Dragon Force, is that power metal?
I don't know off the top of my head.
They did Through the Fire and Flames. That feels very powerful. I'm just trying to think like very like epic like rock songs.
Like anyway,
that's more like
this
death metal or
this random driver actually had a reputation of blasting heavy metal music into the late and early hours of the morning in the RV lots, actually getting into trouble with other drivers because of this.
Hey, this does sound like Dale Jr. a little bit.
This guy's going crazy.
This random driver refuses to join any form of social media.
Oh, I was about, you know what? That ruined it. I was literally about to guess Bubba Wallace because I just remembered he loves metal music and he's a junior. And I guess Bubba's a nickname. It's not his middle name.
He didn't know ice racing.
I don't know that. And but he probably doesn't have an engineering degree or no, what was it? A business degree?
Business.
Oh, yeah.
Although he's a big Tennessee Volunteer fan. Maybe he did take some classes. It's not Bubba Wallace. I'm sorry. I'll stop. But I was about to guess that until the last clue.
This random driver ran in 3 editions of the 24 Hours of Daytona.
Did y'all see AJ Allmendinger's going to run Rolex next year?
Mm-hmm. By the way, Riss, the text you sent me, no, that is not the right driver either. So
She's trying
for
to get in on
risks-
the action. All right.
well, I guess I'll.
Who did she guess? Can we know who she guessed?
I can hear her in the other room go F.
I guess
Um,
this doesn't do anything. So yeah.
so she's yelling at me now. Yeah, this won't give it away. She asked if it was Gordon.
Okay.
To be fair, Gordon raced everything when he was a kid. So
Yeah.
this random driver has never been tweeted about by me, but has 8 times by Eric and 21 by Danny.
I love this driver.
Apparently, this random driver drove in Chevys, Fords, and Toyotas.
Chevy, Fords, and Toyotas. Never Dodge.
Yep, never Dodge.
Okay.
This random driver actually made the Cup playoffs once.
Oh, playoff driver. We're talking playoffs?
This
You
random
sure it's
driver,
not Bubba Wallace?
I am completely sure. You're gonna, unless you want to guess it.
I don't have to now. You just told me it's not him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, we had all covered this, talking that it wasn't him.
Okay,
So I figured
okay,
we could
good,
openly.
good,
I mean,
good.
if you
I'm
want
glad
to
we can
waste a
talk
guess
things
on
out.
it,
I'm glad we can talk things out on this show.
yeah. This random driver has had 4 Daytona 500 top 10s with a career high finish in the race of 5th.
Nice job.
This random driver actually, though, DQ'd his first 2 attempts to make the Daytona 500.
Humble beginnings.
This random driver had 69 nice Cup top 10s.
They made the playoffs just one time, you said?
Yes.
Now, is that, it might have been the chase? Like, what are we defining as playoffs here?
I'm pretty sure it was playoffs.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess Daniel Suarez.
Daniel Suarez is the guess, and Daniel Suarez is wrong. So each has 1 off the board.
I'm
Would
just
you like
doing
some-
The ice racing didn't make sense, but everything else did for some reason.
Would you like the numbers that they
Sure,
raced in?
I think I'm close.
1, 2,
Damn it.
7, 11, 12, 15, 21, 22, 26, 27, 33.
Paul Menard, isn't it?
Paul Menard
Oh,
is
I was
correct.
gonna guess like Jamie McMurray or
So,
something.
The story
Damn.
is that apparently Paul Menard would blast heavy metal music in the
Wow.
driver's lot in the 2000s and early 2010s, and guys like Newman and Kenseth and others would basically go and party in his hauler.
Wow.
I like it.
The
Matt Kenseth was a metal guy. He's a big Metallica guy.
the
Yeah,
11
makes
stood out
sense.
to me, but then when I heard 15, 21, 27, of course, I was like, yeah, Paul Menard.
By
I
the
saw
way,
the
we were only
1
like
and the
2.
26, and I thought McMurray.
How many times did you say I tweeted about him now?
I mean, you might have done it more since the last time I looked, but it was 21.
Yeah, no wonder it's Paul Menard. He's always my 3rd favorite driver.
Who's your 2nd favorite?
Changes.
I thought it was don't worry about it. So that was random driver of the week to close out the season. 33-32 is the score heading into the off season. And guys, I already have next year's premiere set up, and it's a good one. It's a really good one. And I wish I did it this week, but
We ended on a good one. We're getting hard for Menard in the final episode of the year.
spam it in the chat. Hard for Menard.
Beautiful way to wrap things up here. And before we get to our final super chat stage break, we do want to end with one additional kind of fun segment. We're not making race predictions.
We're having fun.
Instead, we're going to reminisce about the show, about the season for a moment. Chat would love for you to chime in on this as well. Right now, we're all spamming hard for Menard. We're in a great spot. Chad, I want to start with this. Anna, favorite Cup race this season? Who's your favorite? Mine.
What happened to Eric's mic? Is that
Yeah,
just
you're
on my end, or
sounding weird.
Uh-oh.
he's back now?
Weird. Did you hear what I said? Favorite Cup Series
Favorite
race.
Cup
Did you have a
race.
favorite one?
Coke 600. That
Oh,
race is
that came to my mind
badass.
too.
Start
was
to
a good one.
finish.
Summer Atlanta, even with the giant pileup, that was some damn good super speedway style racing.
Maybe it's because I was there, but I rather enjoyed the Dover race this year.
It was probably because you were there. It was a good race. That was the race where Bell spun out like 72 times.
Okay, I got too much bias for that one because I was there and Bowman was doing good. Throw that out. Actually, Bristol Night Race was fun this year.
Ooh, it was. That was refreshing to see a good, entertaining Bristol Night Race. Good picks. Chat, I see a lot of Coke 600s. Fall, Kansas, great finish.
Snappy 452 says, Danny, we both got soaked. No, I did not. I went to the media center. Sorry.
Indy had a fun finish with a fun. I do like that the crown jewels this year, the winners of the crown jewel races had fun stories behind them. Like, even though William Byron kind of lucked into the Daytona 500 back-to-back Daytona 500s, that's something. Chastain beating William Byron at the end of the Coke 600, Bubba Wallace winning the Brickyard, Chase Briscoe back-to-back Southern 500s, right? Like, that's the crown jewel winners all were like intriguing, I would say. So that's a good sign. Xfinity Series race before O'Reilly Auto Parts takes over. Jared, what was your favorite Xfinity Series race or moment from this season?
I gotta say, maybe it's because I was happy to see it come back. I really enjoyed the Rockingham race. It had weird stuff happen, but I thought it was pretty good.
I enjoyed that one too. It was ugly at the finish, but yeah. I look back fondly at the Spring Martinsville race. I honestly do.
Before
because
the finish,
it felt like
it
felt like that's where we officially, like after Richmond last year with like how Austin Dillon won that race, the industry kind of came out and condemned, hey, don't win a race like that. I felt like Sammy Smith punting Taylor Gray the way he did and the way the entire industry came down and said, hey, that's not cool. I feel like that was very much a defining moment kind of going forward. And it obviously played a role in how Sammy Smith raced at the end of the fall Martinsville race. So it gave us a lot to talk about.
I got to go with Daytona Summer and Kligerman finishing it for Zilich.
That was pretty good.
That was a good one too. What about the Truck Series? Anyone have a favorite Truck Series race or moment?
I mean, until it got took away, Kligerman winning.
That was a fun moment. Oh, that's a great moment. Yeah. Bittersweet now.
It's funny to think back at that. And if that didn't happen, Corey Haim's record season isn't as big as it is.
Just because, and granted, it was because Heim had issues that it was even a race, but it was a good race. I really like that Homestead truck race. Like, there was tons of battling up front. Like, Corey Haim outdrove Kyle Larson at Homestead, and his truck failing was the only reason that Larson won that race.
That's a really good one. I just had a couple in my mind, and now I'm totally blanking on them. I see chat mentioning Michigan. Didn't that one go to like double overtime? It was a little zany at the end.
That race was awesome until then, though.
Yes,
like it was
I would agree.
Really good.
Spring Atlanta. Kyle Busch beats Friesen by half a truck length. The last I don't remember, maybe 20 laps of that race were awesome. Really, really good. But Homestead's a great pick. But that was fun. What about favorite just moment in general from this entire NASCAR season? Is there a moment that jumps out to either of you that you say, dang, that was cool?
Honestly, Denny, his interview after he won and like appreciating the fan base and talking about his dad, that just, those moments hit differently. Those don't come around very often. It wasn't for a good reason necessarily with all of it, but I thought that was a really, really good moment that fans can appreciate.
I was going to say that one too. I know it's recent, but I thought Heim winning the championship and the way he ultimately had to do it, it was exciting, but more than anything, there was a sense of relief that Heim was able to validate the dominant season we all witnessed. I thought that was an exciting moment. I can think of
my favorite moment also kind of ties into favorite storyline, and that's SVG's rise as a road course ace this season that we saw. And he's incredibly good at doing a burnout. He might be as good as Kevin Harvick at doing burnouts.
Oh, and that reminds me of another one, big one. Daniel Suarez winning Mexico City, going from last to first in a backup car in the Xfinity race. That's a big one. A lot of fun moments sprinkled throughout the season, no doubt. Gentlemen, I know there's a championship. There's been a champion crowned in all three series, but who's one driver? Danny just mentioned this with SVG, but either took a huge leap or who you would just crown like the best driver of the season, driver of the year. Who would be your pick?
Corey Heim.
I'll go Connor Zilich. I think he's
Both fair.
It's just both of them, though. I mean, they dominated their series, and anything else they ran really well. And I mean, look at Heim. I'm going to kind of steal man Danny's point here. Like, look what he did in the Bristol night race. Like, look what Heim did in that race. He was top 5, top 10 in that race. Like, that was impressive as hell. Both of those guys were just awesome this year, and we're probably never going to see two drivers that amazing in two different series like that ever again, or at least not for a long time.
I would agree with both those picks. I'm trying to think of like who is a Cup driver I want to single out. Denny would be the obvious one. He led the series with 6 wins. Danny mentioned SVG, dominant performances at 5 road course races. I'll mention William Byron because we didn't talk about him much at the beginning of the show. But to win the regular season championship and then to win that Martinsville race, to beat Ryan Blaney on the long run at one of Blaney's best tracks, that was a very eye-popping moment for William Byron in his young career. I know he didn't win the championship.
Back Daytona 500s.
Yeah, but like I just felt like this year, William Byron, when you look at the overall record, championship 4, 3 wins, regular season title, Daytona, he crossed a lot of boxes off this year. So
there's a reason they put him as the lead cover guy for the NASCAR video game.
Honorable mention, best wingman of the year, Austin Dillon. Did you see?
Getting William Byron.
Yeah. Drag that man back in there so he could meet Sydney Sweeney, and then said you guys would blow Travis and Taylor out of the water. I was like, you're the man, Austin.
Got him a trophy wife. He's trying to hook a man up, you know.
It was so funny. I was in the driver's meeting room, which was packed. I've never seen more warm bodies packed into a small space than that driver's meeting. But right before the meeting starts, all the drivers have taken their seats. They're sitting down. The meeting's about to start. Alex Weaver's on stage, about to, tap the mic and introduce. And I see Noah Gragson stand up with a cheeky grin on his face. And I'm like, I know what he's doing. I see Kyle, but he says something to Kyle Busch as he like steps over him, and Busch laughs. And I'm like, I know exactly what Noah Gragson is about to do. And sure enough, he went over to introduce himself to Sydney Sweeney before any of the other drivers had a chance. Got a photo. I was like, that is the most Noah Gragson thing I've ever seen. And I saw it coming from across the room. It was very, very entertaining.
While we're talking about Austin Dillon and going back into the favorite moments, this has to be put out there. Austin Dillon winning Richmond back-to-back seasons and doing it right was actually a really good moment.
Great point as well. That's a good one. Final question before we get to our final Super Chat stage break. Favorite NWP moment of season 8? Gentlemen?
8, yeah. 8 years
Me sniping Bobby Dale Earnhardt away from Michael. I still get him of that today. And it's even today, literally, when Jimmy Johnson announced he's racing at San Diego next year, I'd said, I guess Michael's going to San Diego. And he said, why don't we carpool? And I was like, as long as you'll let me listen to Bobby Dale Earnhardt highlights on the way.
Danny B. Ballbuster.
Honestly, I think playing Random Driver of the Week with actual NASCAR drivers was pretty cool. Like and the fact that Ryan
following the rules,
Ryan cheating and still losing, and then Connor being completely like out to lunch on who it is. Like the whole time, Connor being like, "Who is he? What has he done?" And it's Aaron Crocker.
Well, and my favorite line, I forget what the clue was, but it was like, I wasn't even. It was like, retired in 2006 or something, and Connor's like, I was born in 2007 or whatever. It was something like that.
I like Claudia's thing, all the hosts being surprised with cookie cakes by our wives.
That was this year. That's right. Yeah. That was a great moment.
That was awesome.
Really well done. That might have been that. I was about to say that takes the cake, but that was too on the nose of a pun. So,
or us a week after I became a dad, having an in-person show here, and it went perfectly. The baby
Yes.
didn't cry at all. The internet never broke down. The mics for the
Rhett
most
didn't
part
unplug
worked well.
anything. Yeah.
Honestly, that in of itself is a good moment. We got our first godchild of NWP.
And then I saw
And we
a
let
lot
the
in
chat name it. I can't believe that. I can't believe you let him do that, Jarrett.
I know, it's just absolutely crazy.
Little Dale Jr. is something to go over and see.
Well, so funny story. I won't name names in case like they don't want me saying, or I'm assuming they're not watching because they're not NASCAR fans. But my mom at her work ran into somebody I went to high school with that was just going through, and was telling him a bit about what I do. And I think at one point she said something like, yeah, he has a YouTube channel and he covers NASCAR, and he just goes, that's on brand, which it is totally. And she had mentioned that I was going to have a kid, and and he goes, is he going to name it Dale? And then she goes, well, it's a girl. So Dalette.
I you left quite the impression. You must have left quite the impression in high school.
for all those that think like, oh, Jared just covers NASCAR for just because he can do it on YouTube. No, trust me, I was the same way in high school. And one the chat put in, and I just want to put it on screen for him one more time.
Ah, yes, that was a good recurring meme. So was a monkey.
A monkey. We even got the NWP pick monkey out of there.
Yeah. Great, good stuff. A fun
Shout
year, a
out to
fun
all
season.
the meme accounts that we've had this year. We've had some new ones. We've had some pre-existing ones. Been fun.
Like you said, pre-existing, like they're a condition we've been trying to get rid of.
We got
we ain't ever get rid of Calypso and all those.
Hey, Mittens.
Jar Jar's been there since season 1. I feel like
Mittens Mittens might have died at Auto Club, but Mittens outlasted Auto Club.
Crazy. All right. Well, it's been a great season, a great show tonight. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us. It is time for the final super chat stage break, and it is a whopper. We are going to get through each of your super chats. Thank you all for the support.
Be right back.
Gavin Adcock says, I don't think Denny will come back the same. I say he ties Kyle Busch in all-time wins, but doesn't pass him. Busch is at 63. Hamlin's at 60. If Hamlin races 2 more years, I think he'll get over 63. The question is if Kyle Busch gets more wins. We'll see.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Shorty Bubs PJM says the fact Ryan could be a 3-time champ, should be 2-time champ, easily the true 26 champion, 41 points behind first with 9 DNFs. Larson has nothing on him. Yeah, if Blaney cleans up the DNFs next year, which a lot of them weren't really his fault, then yeah, he could be in contention, especially with a consistent points format. Beast of Metal 1989 says, I find it intriguing that Judge Bell said the charters themselves could be anti-competitive. Recall, NASCAR never wanted them. The RTA did. No wonder the other owners want nothing to do with this mess. Yeah, I think there's the risk that if the teams win this lawsuit and the charters themselves are found to be, exclusionary, how they don't make it the barrier to entry is too high, the whole system could be dismantled, rebuilt, and who knows who that'll benefit the most. Justin Drake, thank you for the 20. Been very generous this year, Justin. To the fans complaining that Larson stole the championship, I'm not going to read the next thing. Says the system favors who shows up in the last 5 laps, overtime included, and ultimately drivers have to be prepared for overtime and get a little lucky. I wouldn't have been, basically he told them to go kick sand. I wouldn't have said that, but yeah, I mean, racing is racing. Sometimes NASCAR is going to NASCAR. You got to be prepared for anything.
Eric, you want to hear some random NASCAR news right now?
I would love to. Did something break? Did the lawsuit just get settled?
I wish, but this is truly random. Carson Hocevar, this was coming from the NASCAR on Reddit Twitter account. Carson Hocevar is actually going to be a caddy in an LPGA tour event. Ladies professional golf.
Good for Carson and Jarrett. I see you are smoking that
every year
playoff. One race winner take all finale pack.
I should probably make sure I keep it near the window, seeing how the sprinklers are like right over there in the room.
Just have a cigar. Put it right in the baby's face. That'll be good for it.
Yeah, that would be great.
Soupy Spirit says, if Denny Hamlin loses next season, regardless of format, do we sit here and cry about it again? Wow. Denny came up short. His pit crew's actions were detrimental. Damn. Snap back to reality says, in my opinion, Larson didn't deserve it because I take in consideration the singular race itself. Season entirely. Yes, he did deserve it. But yeah, I guess the way that race ended. No, that's fair. Like Hamlin said, Larson is a deserving champion, but that doesn't mean he necessarily should have won it if that race plays out under green. Antar Das, thank you for the 5, says Hamlin is either going to go on this dominant revenge tour or whimper away into the sunset. Sunday was the most painful day to be a fan of the 11 since 2010. Yeah, I can only imagine.
Sorry. My wife
Stephen
just came in
Gibson
here
says,
with dinner.
says still hate how NASCAR treated the 24 blowing a tire. Wasn't consistent with every other blown tire, but the season's over. Ready for this version of playoffs to be dead and ready to see the rotation start for the finale. Agree with you on those last 2 points. They did hold the flag on a couple blown tires, but the big difference to me was Byron hitting the wall. Not that he hit it that hard, but I do think that maybe resulted in the quicker trigger. Soupy Spirit again cannot get off this here. He says Denny Hamlin can be awarded the most deserving award, but he would probably come up short there too. Soupy Spirit, man, absolutely crushing tonight. Creston John says palindrome Elliott in 26. Oh, yeah, to Danny's pattern point earlier. We'll see. It's Nothing says, I was so heartbroken after the race, I couldn't watch anything NASCAR. I opened up Eric's recap on Tuesday and had to shut it off because it made me sad. Oh, I'm sorry, It's Nothing. Well, I'm glad you were able to tune in tonight. Hopefully this begins the road to recovery. Ryan Idiot says, was still numb over the Jays the night before, so meh.
Yeah, I was numb over the ball, so I'm right there with you.
Sports can be beautiful and so damn painful at the same time. Z Bullet says Denny blew a 28-3 lead in the fourth quarter. Yeah, well, didn't work out, I guess. Scott McNew, thank you for the generous super chat, says, in my opinion, Danny B said everything perfectly in his reaction video on how I felt. I'm just hoping the playoffs go away somehow and can start having more legitimacy with the champion.
Yeah, I hadn't really had a draw to just react to races because everything that's been going on. I do NWP with you guys, but other than that, it's like just hasn't been drawing me in. And finally, I just felt like I need to sit down and give my thoughts about it. And glad people who did take time to listen to it kind of agreed with me a little bit.
Well, we won't name names either, but there's some people we've known from the YouTube scene for a while who have even said like, watch college football instead, or baseball or basketball. It's just there is a bit of an apathy issue that some of the fans have, and hopefully it gets addressed.
No shame in it. I mean, you can only consume so much media in a week or weekend, so you got to make the decision on what you think's worth watching.
There is more options than ever, and the days aren't getting any longer. So Devin says, I think Larson does deserve the championship since he came from the back to win it. Plus, how are you guys affiliated with the Daily Downforce? I know as far as this show is concerned, they help distribute it on some of the podcast platforms. Otherwise, I think that's really the limit of this show's involvement. They work with me on some bigger projects like Groovy Hollow and some of the other partnerships you've seen this year, but I mean, they kind of do their own thing on their end. Napa Racing Fan 927 says NBC, nothing but clowns. Damn. It's Nothing says, all bias aside, what a phenomenal race. I mean, other than the kind of wacky finish, I agree. It was a very good race. The Racing Rail Fanner 93 says, not a Denny fan at all. Matter of fact, I wanted the 5 after Byron wrecked, but after the checkered wave, something didn't feel right. I don't think I'll ever like Denny, but if he ever does win the title, I won't be upset about it. That's well said. I respect the very, very modest response, I guess.
Well, it's like you can feel bad for Denny, but still know that Larson deserved it. Like, it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive.
Scott McNew says, also want to say I appreciate everything you guys do for the sport. Hope you have a great offseason. Thank you, Scott. And you as well.
Thank you.
A Prada, very generous tonight, says David Land's video this week nailed it. Since 04, NASCAR's trained fans to not know what to cheer for. On paper, Kyle's the most deserving champion, but he was an afterthought for many. Rewarding consistency needs to be priority in 2026. I think that's fair. I think anytime NASCAR says, hey, this format is supposed to prioritize winning more, and then you get like a Matt Crafton championship in 2019, it sends mixed signals. I think that's a fair. I haven't seen David's video, but I'll check that out because I'm sure he's a little more separated from this than the three of us are. So it's interesting to get another motorsports fan's perspective.
I won't spoil the whole thing for you, but he brought up a great point. That's like NASCAR has kind of chased this entertainment fan over racing fan so long that's like there might not be a change they can do to fix it, in the sense that like whatever you do, you're going to lose people. If you do more consistency based, sure, you might get some racing diehards from others, but you're going to lose a lot of the entertainment fans that want to watch for the chaos. You might get bigger ratings for your bigger races because there's good racing at them. But like they brought up this on Unverified too, which I'm glad they brought that back. Kind of the incentive, like what's my incentive to watch stage 2 of Spring Dover? When that was a thing. Like what's the incentive at that point? If it really doesn't matter come the playoffs side of it. So I'd say watch that too on top of David's video. Like some really good conversations and talking points that most people in the NASCAR sphere aren't bringing up.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. I definitely think there's a point there. That's very interesting. Where was I at? Where was I at here? I will say on that though, I do think, can NASCAR come back from it? I think they can. I think it's going to take time though. I don't think there's a silver bullet that does it overnight. And the problem NASCAR has had is that they're impatient with things. They're willing to give like a new race, maybe 3 years max. And if it's not gangbusters, it's gone. And I think NASCAR needs to be more committed to their next initiative. Thomas Jocks here, this is where I left off, said, do you see Hamlin be like my Spurs revenge tour in 2013, 2014, losing game 7 and come back and win the following year, dominate? We'll see. I mean, I think Denny's capable of dominating, but this was also the most probably heartbreaking defeat any Cup driver has experienced since Carl Edwards in 2016, and Carl Edwards did not come back from that. Quite literally, he left. So we'll see if Denny can bounce back.
Who had the heartbreaking one before then? Like
as far as like a full season is concerned,
just in general.
Maybe Carl in 2011.
But at least with that one, like he was chasing for a lot of that. Like it wasn't in his grasp,
That's fair. I don't know then.
I guess would it be like Bill Elliott and Davey Allison in 92? Like where they have it it is in their hands.
Maybe, yeah.
Like it is rare that this happens, no matter the format. Like it is very rare that somebody has it in the bag and then it's just gone.
We have a lot here. I'm going to go pretty quick over these next few. Jensen, thank you for the super chat. Says, I don't have a favorite driver, but was rooting for Denny. I'm hoping Denny will come back strong, have a winning season, finally get the championship. It'd be great redemption. I think a lot of us agree at least. Jeffrey King says, I'm all for a stupid pregame show for stupid NFL. Damn. Kayshawn says, Cup trophy still has Road America and the Daytona road course on it. Someone pointed that out, and I need to look more closely, but if that's true, that's hilarious. They had them all pre-made like 10 years ago, and they just haven't bothered to remake them. Napa Racing Fan says, TV partners, Fox gets an F, Prime A+, TNT C-, NBC C, B, CW B+.
I got a video on that tomorrow.
I largely agree with those. Snapback to Reality says, at least in Pick TV, you can see commercial-free races for all 3 series with a good amount of interviews showed depending on each race. Search it. I don't know. Is that one of those Sail the 7 Seas sites? I don't even know.
Oh, that's a real thing.
Oh, okay. Browser says, does NFL pregame get more views than NASCAR? I'm sure close to kickoff it does. I don't know about an hour and a half before kickoff, but
it does. It gets like 4 or 5 mil.
Yeah. Jeffrey King says, run the soft tire at Texas. Oh, Texas is sketchy enough as it is. I don't know. Then says 10 race chase is perfect. I'll get bored with full season. I'm a diehard. Gordon fans complaining about Johnson's greatness because of jealousy. Ooh, fighting words right there. Young Money says somewhere Steve Phelps is doing his best Chris Collinsworth impression. Now here's a racing tire that we like. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Sometimes it's like Patrick Mahomes. You just you like in the pumpkin patch, and there he is.
Under Nixon Fishing says Stuart Edwards was special because back then those Game 7 moments didn't happen often. Game 7 moments are special because they don't happen often. That's the big thing with the one race is artificially forcing a tiebreaker every year is too much and has been. It's overstayed its welcome. Farkle says, I finally have a job and chose to send my first super chat to the man who got me deeper into NASCAR. Without you, Eric, I wouldn't be the fan I am today. That's very kind of you to say, Farkle. And congratulations on the job. $5 Canadian super chat up in Canada. I don't know what he's doing up there, but I hope he's doing well. Appreciate the support. I think his profile picture, is that like what is that? I thought it's Farkle. Isn't that the game?
We got Canadian giving a super chat to an American, having someone give him cheers with a Belgian beer.
Love it. NASCAR so international.
Oh, yeah.
We're an F1 show now. Irvin Alvarado says, do you know why the full season works? Because each week there's the danger that if the leader in points dominates, but they DNF at a bad time, I would go, oh, shoot, we've got a championship title fight now. I think Keselowski said it best. NASCAR used to be, how did he phrase it? NASCAR used to be a series of races with a championship kind of, tying them together at the end. Whereas now it's like a championship made up of a bunch of races. And I think it's just the way we talk about it. Now we focus so much more on playoffs and championship more. And I think we've talked about that in the show in recent weeks, that's turned as many people off as the format itself. Is it's just such a change in philosophy from 20 years ago.
I'm just so jealous right now watching F1, like not watching them, but like seeing from afar, like their championship fight. They got two guys under a blanket, like 1 point apart. And here's Verstappen, that like the great white shark in the movie, who all of a sudden was like 100 points back or something crazy like that, and is charging back. Like, what a cool storyline to end the year. Like, the guy who was dominated is charging back, competing for he might get that title. We don't get that in NASCAR. Like, we have not gotten that. When's the last time we got that?
Larson in 21 was probably the last champion we all felt pretty good about.
But
like
what I'm saying
like
is
the vast majority. But no, you're right. Like the storyline, it's probably Stuart Edwards in 2011, or Truex 2017. He just outdrove everyone all year.
I don't like when Jimmy early in the 2006 chase, like he crashed out at Loudon, didn't score
like a comeback story,
like a real comeback story, not just like he barely got in the chase, but probably Jimmy, like in 2006, he had to charge back in that chase. He was way in the back from the get-go because he crashed at Loudon. He got crashed at Talladega with that Dale Jr. Brian Vickers deal. So it's 6 races to go. He was like 7th or 8th in the points.
I was going to say that's a good one. I would say Kyle Busch in 2015 was a comeback story, but that was very polarized. It was a polarizing one. So that's why I don't know if that one counts.
30, it's probably
he did win like 6 races.
I know, no, and don't get me wrong. Like if he'd run the full season, he probably would have won like 10 to 12 races that year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just
Gibbs was on it that year. Even Matt Kenseth past his prime, won 5 races that year.
Wasn't that far past his prime. That was a super team, dude. That was
the edge of his prime. That was the first year of Edwards, and Hamlin was starting to Hamlin was fully recovered from the back injury. That team, that's probably the best roster we've seen in our lifetime.
2015, we got the JGR super team against the Hendrick super team. Like those 8, because you had
Gordon was still in it. Yeah,
Gordon was still pretty good.
Jimmy wasn't washed yet.
Yeah, Jimmy was still pretty good. Junior was up there in the top 5 all year in points. And then you had the Gibbs guys really good. Logano was like charging up towards the front at the end of the year. Brad was still awesome. Like, the racing might not have been good, but like there were some decent storylines in that season. And we just remember it for, Kyle Busch or for Logano and Kenseth.
Yeah. Back to the super chats. Beast of Metal says, if NASCAR still thinks the anti-Jimmy backlash then and now was about hating dominance as opposed to him being a soulless pile of $100 bills stuffed into a fire suit, then they'll never get it. Damn. All right. Wow. Just taking shots at Jimmy tonight. I do think, but I don't know. Does Kyle Larson have that much more personality today than Jimmy Johnson did? A little bit. Does Chase Elliott have more personality?
No.
Kind of.
Does William Byron?
No. Byron doesn't. Elliott doesn't.
It's the flat the way you went. No.
Christopher Bell does. Hamlin does. There's some, but
Blaney does.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Blaney is like that really low key kind of energy. He's like
it's
Bobby
very
Labonte to him.
I like Ryan Blaney. He's very mellow. He's very mellow, especially when he and Bubba will hang out. They're polar opposites in that regard. And so
that's what makes him great. But that's what I love about Blaney. The dude oozes cool.
I'm excited for Zilich and Love at the next level. Did you see him on stage last night? Like they are
Sweet Caroline.
Yep. Moving on. We have Jeffrey King says,
sorry about that. I like that. It seems like even though Love won, he tried to get Zilich involved in that and let him share that because he probably knows deep down he kind of deserves that a little bit.
They could do the real shake and bake, man. That is Ricky Bobby and Cal Naughton.
Didn't work at Talladega in the spring race. They got to work.
Yeah, that's just practice trial.
They got to get their bumpers aligned better next time.
Yeah.
Jeffrey King says, Jarrett and Eric, if you do a 10-race chase between best 10 drivers, no winning in, just top 10 in points after 26, wins need to count for more. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
They reset the points and value wins bonus. Yeah. Urban Alvarado says, "Oh, and if the title is wrapped up, cool, they deserve it. Then the races we have left, let teams go all out. That's why IndyCar at the end was fun." That's fair. IndyCar did have a couple good races then. Don't give me BS. We don't have boring stuff in full season. There will be some.
We have
boring stuff in full
storylines.
season.
That's
I
for
would
sure.
say that, but yeah, there will be storylines. Snap back to reality says slap shoes format in his 2020 playoffs video. I have to go back and check that out. It's been a while. 505 Doom says we need full season format because so teams who aren't Hendrick, Gibbs, or Penske actually have to try instead of BSing all the way to Daytona. I think a lot of those teams are still trying, but okay, fair enough. I'm with you. I'm not a fan of Harrison Burton going from 35th to 16th in points. I agree. That is a little goofy. Eric, thank you for the super chat. Says here's $20 dues. Very kind of you. Thank you for the $1 dues. The Money Lap show. Okay. I'm glad he brought this up because I don't think I brought this up on here. And I thought this was a really interesting point. The Money Lap show said that full season points could increase race manipulation as the manufacturers have so much power and can order every Chevy, Ford, or Toyota to help their lead driver, like you sometimes see in F1. I heard that episode and thought that was fascinating because obviously Kligerman and Castle are way closer to the OEMs and manufacturers and teams than we are. I think it's a little bit of a wild theory, but it did make me think, okay, if we do go full season, I'm going to watch for that next year. If, Chase Elliott has a great start and is the lead Chevy by, the 600, does Chevy just sort of put all of their eggs in that basket to try and get him the championship? Or do they continue to share the wealth? I think that's a fair question.
I think
you guys remember a couple of years ago when I think before he got injured, I think Bowman was like having very consistent performances, and I think maybe even leading the points at one point. I mean, we all want to say Bowman's a bad driver, but if we go to a system like that and he has another season start like that, that's a good thing.
Well, so I think the big pushback I'll give to at least the team order side is that with NASCAR compared to Formula One, there are so many more variables with the sport. One,
within the race itself, for sure.
The races themselves. I mean, you got 6 super speedway races. You have, unlike Formula One where they can race in the rain, weather could hit at any time and completely ruin one of those. To me, I was thinking about this today. I think if NASCAR went to a full season format, it would be the most legitimate championship you could win in all of motorsports. And here's why. NASCAR has the most diverse schedule in all of racing. You have to go through a gauntlet all year. It's the longest schedule in racing. You have to go through short tracks. You have to go through road courses, super speedways, intermediates, everything. Hell, they could add in dirt racing at some point again, because I honestly liked Bristol dirt. That could come back at some point. Street racing is in there now, and who knows what they might be able to add in the future. I think that it would be whoever would win that, one, would be 100% deserving. We wouldn't be questioning it. But two, they would have to go through everything. You can't be good at one or two types of tracks and get your way through. You can't just luck your way into being good. 1 week you might be really good at Bristol, but are you going to be able to survive Talladega? And then are you going to be really good at Texas or Kansas or North Wilkesboro? That's on top of the car and the parity there. NASCAR is so different to what it was in so many good and bad ways. But in my opinion, the schedule for good ways compared to 2003, it's not a bunch of intermediate tracks. It's not 6 short tracks. It's not 4 super speedways. There is enough of a body of work and difference in it all that I hold to it. I think it would be the most impressive championship to win in all of racing if you can do 36 weeks of that.
Oh, for sure. That's what we've said. NASCAR should lean into that, highlight that versatility more and more. I think we've talked about that on the show, and
it changes so much.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
I would love it.
And with the cars being as equal as they are, obviously the Hendricks and Gibbs still have more resources and more money, but the gap isn't as great in Cup as it is in F1, for example. So I'm with you there. I think that's a strong take. Where are we at here? Hello, FR. Thank you for the 2. Says, agree with Eric. Zilich didn't show when it counted. I didn't say that. Maybe he agrees with something else I said, and then is just adding, "Oh, Zilich didn't show any." I never said that, but
You're like that 50 Cent one. What are they coming me at?
yeah, I'm like, wait, I didn't say Zilich. Are they accusing me of saying the lights were brighter or something, or too bright or something? I didn't say that. Well, hold on, got me mistaken for somebody else. Jeffrey King says, "No love won fair and square under rules given." I agree with that. I still don't think he had a fully big picture championship worthy season. Oh God, Palm Tree says, "If we send enough super chats, we can keep the stream going until Daytona." Please don't. Happy Daytona or happy off season, everyone. Love you guys. Thank you, Palm Tree. Very kind of you to say. Ross Crash Stain says the playoffs were too silly for Zilly. At least even year Logano is back next season. Okay, that's too early to start the even year Logano. Superstition. I stand with 2311 Carson. Oh boy, says, "Hey NWP, Eric, how was Phoenix?" It was great. It was a good time. Emotional at times, but also very productive. Thanks for letting me listen to your channels. I don't watch NASCAR on TV or streaming until all the current broadcast teams are replaced. There it is.
Well,
I was waiting for Carson to come down heavy on someone. Carson also says, "I only watch Talladega and Homestead with friends. All other races not in person. I didn't watch in motorsports in 2025. Wait, not even IndyCar? What? I thought Carson was an IndyCar fan too." Says, "Congrats to Corey Heim, though his dominance bores me." Okay. Congrats to Kyle Larson. His consistency bores me. Carson swinging out here. Creston
Do
John
you even
says,
like racing?
I don't know that they do at this point. Creston John says, "Zilich getting Rookie of the Year feels like a participation trophy." He turned it into that the way he dominated that. And then Thomas Jock says, "Zilich won the 2024 Florida 36, Rolex 24 plus Sebring 12." Wow. I know
he's won a lot of stuff. He's really good at racing.
Bryce says, "Full season points," in all caps. Also, Jordan Bianchi this week had some comments after the race that made no sense.
So you're saying that there would not be enough storylines, and if there was a full season points format, and it would be boring, according to an unnamed journalist that he talked to in the media center this weekend that was around back then.
Like an old reporter was saying, yeah, it was
horrible. It was boring back in the day. It was terrible because of full season points. And our friends at the Scene Vault podcast did not take kindly to that.
Oh, I did see their tweet. It's tough. Yeah, that's a tough one because there are a lot of storylines, but there are only a few storylines people click on. As the three of us can attest to, it's like I think that's not me saying a 36 race season's a bad idea. I'm just saying that like you can write whatever the hell you want, but I know a lot of people who write stories that I just know no one's going to.
I know for a fact that
sorry,
we've had people ask us before, like, why don't you guys ever talk about ARCA or something like that? And it's like, I got nothing against ARCA, but it's not gonna.
Hey, I talked the last 2-3 years, especially this past year and the year before. I've really gotten into talking about trucks and Xfinity. It's a lot more interesting than I used to give it credit for. And the one I could see more credence in it if Brock Beard wasn't out there giving some of the best videos on YouTube about guys that ran 35th to 43rd every week.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is. Watch.
Wait, Jarrett. I thought. Why are we talking about these guys? Why are we talking about?
There's interesting
guys?
stories, but I don't want to talk. I'm not talking about them points wise. If I'm talking points wise, I want to talk about the best of the best. If I'm talking about stories throughout the garage and interesting things,
okay,
I will talk about field fillers and everyone in between to hear all about that.
It's only so much time in the week.
There's a balance.
Yeah, I agree. There is a balance. Where are we at here? People says the 2007 Patriots are one of the best teams of all time, led every metric. Then they didn't win the Super Bowl. It happens. Nobody says change the NFL playoffs.
It's not.
That was a big sigh, Jarrett.
It's motorsports.
It's just tough in football. It's tough in football when you play one team a week.
Yeah,
there's some teams you don't play all season. So until
some teams don't play for 4 years in the NFL. Yeah. Like me and Danny's teams will not play until 2028.
So so that's why playoffs in football, baseball, basketball, all those are a little different. NASCAR, you're racing the same teams every week. So the need for playoffs is called into question. Like that's fair. That's the big difference. Carson, congrats to Jesse Love. I'm wearing Richard Childress Racing merch today since he beat Zilich, who bored me all season. Yeah, we get it. We get you don't like Connor.
It's entertaining me, man.
It's crazy. Snapback to reality says 2015 Indy at Pocono. Only time I remember 7 wide. Yeah, probably on a restart or something. Oh, wait, no, the Indy car at Pocono, they're talking about 2015, I assume, because I'm like, they can't fit 7 cars at Indy.
Bring IndyCar. By the way, if you're talking about crazy racing too, bring IndyCar back to Michigan at some point, man.
Ooh.
Like I want to see them at Michigan again, like those open wheel cars. Like I know it's dangerous, but I bet you they'd have a freaking blast there, and it'd be awesome.
I know we're running long tonight. We're getting through these super chats. No, you're fine, you Jared. I'm just warning everyone. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
I'm gonna stay quiet. I'm just gonna let Eric do his thing unless I'm needed.
CCA Hill says, with Jesse Love winning the title, does this put questions on Sheldon Creed since he got booted from that seat? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look great. Grizzly Industry says, I need my 8 wide racing. Okay, now we're just getting greedy. We got 7 wide. Can we be happy with 7 wide? Jeffrey King says, chat had pick points version of Johnson 2012 at Miami. Yeah, not good down the stretch, unfortunately. Yeah. Grizzly Industry says, great. Now Jarrett leading the pick championships is going to be like Jimmy Johnson championships. Time to change the pick format. Yeah, if NASCAR
we're having a playoffs, damn it.
Yeah, if NASCAR gets rid of playoffs, we should add playoffs.
We should do it where, like, you know, the leader after like a certain amount of races has to go all the way to the back. It'll be, you know, just like move everyone back, move everyone
like
up,
invert, like an invert. Okay,
we'll invert the field every 6 weeks.
All right. Young Money says, do you think Corey Heim will ever get a ride with Gibbs or no because of the Ty Gibbs situation? He's a 2311 driver, so I think that's his most likely landing place. Jeffrey says, I still believe in Bowman. I know Danny does. Grizzly Industry says, this Festivus season, Seinfeld reference, I will air the grievances of all things NASCAR, and the people invited to my party will all look at me like I'm Alex Jones. Just, I don't know, spewing.
The playoffs need to go away right now. All right. The Bronx are saying so.
Justin Drake says, responding to Danny B's tweet about the tires, crap, bring back the tire wars and have Michelin, Hoosier, and Firestone pull up. Dang. Yeah, I don't know. Tire wars were a polarizing time in the sports history.
Bloody. Every time there's a tire war in motorsports, people die.
Jeffrey King says Bowman JRM9 could win 5 races a year and championships. Man, Bowman in the Xfinity series. Carson with a few more super chats here says that this was the worst cup finale ever because Larson hadn't won a race since May, Kansas. Then says Hamlin will win a championship this year when 2311 defeats NASCAR in the lawsuit. And then says if NASCAR was smart, they would use all 3 points formats in 2026. 36 race for Cup, 10 races for O'Reilly, and do the championship 4 for trucks. They can change it in 2027 to see after they see what works best. That would be actually kind of a crazy idea. I don't think they should do that, but that'd be crazy.
Chaos time.
Very generous super chat from Creston John. Thank you so much. I love the Patrick Star profile picture. Says, thanks, Jarrett, Danny, and Eric for NWP this year. This show has been one of the few things I look forward to every week, and it's been one of the few bright spots in what has been a very dark year in my personal life. Thank you for a great year. Thank you, Creston John, and hope everything's going well with you. I hope you have a nice off season, and we'll be back and better than ever come January for the new year. Void, thank you for the 2. What number do you think they'll give Zilich? Danny predicted something in the 80s. I would agree. I think they'll go 87, but yeah, maybe they'll lean into the memes and try to steal the
kind of like the idea of 81 combining 88 and Ross's 1.
That's not bad.
99.
The 18's available.
maybe they
well, not really. Joe still has it.
Maybe they'll do 91.
Rusted Valor says the playoff format has to go if for no other reason than this weekend. It's made me hate my guy's teammate and root for my worst enemy. I'm a Byron fan all the way. Dang. Dealing with some internal conflict there, Rusted Valor. Pugsley 2000 says saw Stu at Super Dirt Week. He's on track for the February return, but still has numbness in his right foot from nerve damage. Ugh. I hope he's doing okay. And hopefully he can make a recovery by Daytona. I know he threw that out there months ago as a goal. Seemed like a lofty goal at the time, but maybe he can make that happen.
Good story.
Good luck to him. Creston John says, also thanks, Jarrett, for your post-race streams. Love the I'll do it myself mentality, and I appreciate you doing it when you don't have to. I know you enjoy doing those, Jarrett. So it's cool to see how they've grown.
I love it. It's so fun. And it's so fun seeing so many people come and watch this show, and we all just hang out, and I love it. We all love motorsports.
Also for you, Jarrett, from T. Griffin says, I'm flying out to Minneapolis Saturday to watch the Vikings game with my dad. I'm a Jets fan. Went to that game a few years back. Also hoping for a good game versus the Ravens.
Wait, he went to the Jets one? I was at that game.
It sounds like it. All right.
Yeah,
We
my
might
dad
cross
and I were
paths.
at that game. We actually, funny story. We the group on the row behind us. The dad was a Vikings fan, and his wife and kid were Jets fans. And so when the Vikings got the game-sealing interception, he was hugging me and my dad instead of his own family. I hope you have a great time.
Irvin Alvarado says, New Jersey guy here. Meadowlands, as a reminder, located in East Rutherford, New Jersey, aka MetLife, F that stadium. They would have raced the horse race track facility there. Logistically in and out for fans would be bad, which is probably why it didn't come to fruition. A few here from Latoya Cheetah. I done said it many times, and I'll say it again. Denny ain't never going to win no gosh darn championship. I will never eat that crow. He's always been focused on the wrong stuff. I mean, no choice between two jerkwads after the 24-19 flopped. I was 100% team Larson because I am dying on this hill. Bubba will be saved once Denny goes. That's crazy. Wow. Even Denny Hamlin, the team owner, I guess, never going to win a championship is what it sounds like. Rowdy8 Diecast says, thanks, guys, for keeping my Wednesday nights entertaining all year. Excited for 26 and getting out to the track again soon. Appreciate you tuning in, Rowdy8 Diecast. I can't remember if it was this year. Danny, you met Rowdy8 Diecast, I think.
I
this
did.
year.
His name's Will. Met him at Dover.
I think I met him last year. So, yeah, I'm hoping to cross paths again. Speedway Anywhere says, my prediction is Danny will come to Elko Speedway and see the ARCA race in June.
I will not.
Calling it now. Okay. Where are we
Sorry,
at?
I will not.
Roman numeral 3 says Menard is my new favorite driver. Power metal forever. I need some examples of power metal.
We'll look into it after the show.
All right. Is it like not cool?
We'll get to it.
We'll
get there.
Mom 9098 says my favorite was the Kansas playoff race. I got to meet Eric and Chase Elliott won. Can't wait till 2026. Well, it was great meeting you, and I'm glad you were excited by that finish. It was definitely fun to talk about. Hunter Nixon Fishing says Coke 600, Summer Atlanta, Daytona 500. They're nominees for best race of the season. Says I was at the 500, and the experience at DIS is unrivaled. I would agree. It is pretty special. Again, from the Roman numeral 3. Oh, here we go. Good power metal bands. Here we go. All right. Halloween. I think I've heard of them. Gamma Ray, Stradivarius, Primal
Sabaton
Fear, Rhapsody, Masterplan, Sonata Arctica, Camelot, Angra, Iron Savior, and Freedom Call. Those are some
Sabaton
epic
on there?
sounding names. I know Sabaton. Are they power metal? I feel like they would be power metal, maybe.
I guess
Sabaton not listed.
It depends. Well, because I know people are like putting in like Judas Priest and others, but I think like we got to talk about probably more modern or like 2000s. Probably is what Paul Menard would be going for.
Damn,
but apparently he's a metal
Sabaton
fan.
Is mediocre. That's dark.
I didn't say what I thought of him. Apparently though, Paul Menard is like a metalhead across the board. So
fun.
He would fit in very well with the three of us. That's for sure.
Jensen, our friend from Hawaii, says, mahalo, Jarrett, Eric, and Danny for covering the crazy NASCAR season this year. NWP is one of the highlights every week. I'm looking forward to more. Have a great rest of the year, everyone. Aloha from Honolulu. Oh, now we're zeroing in on Jensen's location. I knew they're from Hawaii. I did not know Honolulu. We're zeroing in. Beep, 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 beep. Maybe, I don't remember now. Maybe I just forgot. Elijah says, what's your favorite race during Xfinity's reign? Oh, that's opening up a
whole era. Damn.
That's 11 years. Gosh.
That 2019 finale, man, that might be it. Like just being there in person.
I felt so good after that race. That was a fun one. That was such a blast. I agree.
Honestly, especially after like the whole controversy with Crafton winning the truck championship with no wins and being bad. Like it was like the opposite of this weekend. Like the other two races, I know people didn't like the cup race, but those other two races like washed the bad taste out of your mouth. It was a really good finish for the most part. Like, but that Xfinity race was like, that was top tier, man.
Honestly, 2017 is kind of underrated one. You had William Byron winning it, but then the whole deal of how Elliott Sadler felt like he probably had his best chance to do it, and it got away from him. That was an interesting
bowl.
one. Me and Jarrett weren't even doing YouTube back then.
People brought up too, like Blue Jimmy and Creston, like that 2021 race at Bristol with AJ and Cindric.
Oh yeah,
That was
same year.
wild.
Hemrick bumping Cindric for the win and the title. That was pretty crazy finish.
There's been a lot of good races in this era.
Oh, for sure, no doubt. Thomas Jock says worst moment: Chris bowling at Daytona versus right or left with Justin Allgaier. Yeah, there we go. Fitting. Creston John also sent another very generous super chat. Really appreciate the support, man. Thank you for supporting what we do here. We do appreciate that. Snap back to reality again says good work on this year, boys. First time able to watch entirely, thanks to my decreasing attention span. would love to give my takes and opinions on the sport as a Brazilian NASCAR fan. Oh, interesting perspective.
Nice.
Yeah, they'll appreciate the support, and yeah, we'll I'm sure we'll hear plenty more from you all going on forward, man. That's awesome. Garabuki says, leaving behind the bad vibes from the weekend, what was the first thing you fell in love with about your wives? Thank you for all you do, gents. Kind of a
goddamn
personal question. I don't know.
The first thing what? Sorry.
First thing you fell in love with about your wives.
Oh, I thought it was
we're all married this year.
So,
officially.
Okay, I don't know if like maybe I don't know because I love my.
Can
my
Riss
wife's
hear you through the
eyes
walls?
Oh no, she's watching. She'll hear. Like her eyes just got me like hook, line, and sinker. But I'll say like not something physically. The first date that her and I went on was during COVID. And we had talked like beforehand, because we had met during it. And so we had a few Zoom calls before she moved up north. And
don't get too close.
I went to the wrong house. She sent me the address and I went to the wrong fucking town. And it was like
wrong town.
So, okay. To be fair, it was like the one next door. Like, so she lived up in a town called Beloit, which is, or Janesville. I mean, I went to Beloit. She lived in Janesville. It's the same place Tony Romo's from.
She tried to catfish you. I can't believe it.
Well, no. So I show up to the address she gave me in Beloit. And it's like this freaking meth house, like this. It looks like white trash galore, and I'm like, "What the hell did I get myself into?" And I knock on the door, and here comes my 300-pound life or 600-pound wife or whatever. They're like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Is Riss here?" I don't know what that is. And I literally said, "Oh, thank God!" And I like, "Hey, I think I went to the wrong place." And so I'm like an hour late to our first date. She's watching me right now, literally in the other side of the room. She just walked in. I'm like an hour late to our first date. And I am like calling her. I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I went to the wrong town. I'll be right there. I'll be there in like 10 minutes. And it was like a 30-minute drive. I was there in like 10 to 15 minutes. And I got there, and thank God she still was waiting for me. She did not cancel the date on my dumb ass. And I got to marry the greatest woman I've ever met.
How touching.
So I love the fact that she gave me
a
chance when I didn't deserve it. What was the first thing you fell in love with your wives?
Well, I can't really nail down like a first, but one of the biggest things I do love about Claudia is that how much she can take up of my interest. I can take up of her interest. We can find ways to share a lot of interests. We both get to bring out the best each other. We both get to, if she wants to go travel, I want to go travel. If I want to go cover a race, she wants to be there with me help covering a race in some way. She wants, she's not afraid to be a part of the race vlogs, be a part of it all with me. And she's right there with me for a lot of my best parts about my, weird career path, I guess. And then same thing, like she works for a big catering company here in Nashville, and if I ain't got anything going on, I'll go work a wedding or something like that, make a little extra money, but be with her too some more. So find ways to be with each other as much as we can.
Yeah, I'd say the first thing that stuck out to me when I met Amelia was she was so enthusiastic, optimistic about things, and another big plus. I found out pretty quickly she was a big sports fan. Now, granted, she was from Dallas. I was from Houston. So some of our teams are bitter mortal rivals, not to mention she went to Oklahoma and I went to Texas. So the opposites should not have attracted in this case. But yeah, kind of like what Danny said. having that shared interest, the number of like Saturday afternoons we now spend on the couch watching college football. I never expected that to be my life. I always thought I'd have to be the guy who awkwardly shuffles to his office to watch sports on his own time. Now I get to share that with my wife, and it's a blast. So great question.
You two also really like Disney, don't you?
I know we're going.
She told, this is going to make me sound like such a nerd. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say this. We have
Just say
how many people watching? On our first date, I remember this. Amelia told me that one of her life goals was to visit every Disney theme park on planet Earth. And I looked her dead in the face and said, mine too.
That's awesome.
We haven't made that much progress. We've only
And
hit the
they're in the
US,
process
but
of opening one in
eventually.
Saudi Arabia, I think, or something like that.
I don't know if we'll get to that one. That one might be a little out there
Well,
for us, but I mean, we're
what
going
are-
to do our best anyway.
What's
so,
the favorite thing your wife's got you into? Like,
oh
something
Jesus
be
Christ! My wife has me
way-
watching Dancing with the Stars every Tuesday. I didn't
Okay,
think
but
that would be
is-
my life either.
Is that way out of your comfort zone initially?
Yeah, a little.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Claudia will be watching a random show. I have no interest in it. I really don't. But if I'm there, all of a sudden, like, she'll be watching like the Bachelorette, and I'll be like, and I'll just be like, "What? This girl's stupid. Why she get?" Just not even
See-
caring, but I'm into it somehow.
My wife is the reason why I like when we get off here tonight and like finish up, I'm gonna go and watch Has Been Hotel, and she got me addicted to watching like on repeat with our daughter K-pop Demon Hunters, like things that I'm sorry, if you had asked me 5 years ago, I'd be like, no way in hell am I watching that. And now I'm like, oh, I can't wait to watch it. Like,
Honestly,
completely
my
out of
wife
my
has got me
comfort
into
zone.
college football. I was a very, very casual college football fan, and now I am almost like she won't watch some of the important games. She's scared to. I will watch. I am in it. I am in the train. I'm essentially on the offensive line as well. Like I'm basically on the team. Essentially,
I gotta say this.
I need an
She's
ice
very-
bath after the game.
I gotta say this. I know how much she's into it. Eric, I'm shocked. She has been very quiet since her team beat my team. She really has not gloated. She has not said anything about
We're
it.
not trash talkers. We really aren't. My thing is like I would have a hard like what am I trying to say? Like I can because I know it's always gonna come back around. I can trash talk, yeah, my team beat your team. I know my team's gonna lose eventually, and I don't want to lay it on so thick that then they turn around and lay it on me months later or years later. Like you know what I mean? Like I
like that at
that's my
least
problem.
my team won in her stadium, her team won in my stadium, so we're kind of even now.
well, like
Yeah.
I got Riss into, I was the one that got her into sports. So like she likes NASCAR. I knew when she liked a 550 race at Pocono, I was like, all right, she's gonna like this because like it gets
Oh,
only
wow.
better from here. And like getting her more into football. She's rooting for the Vikings now, and she's got the little kiddo that likes to giggle and smile doing a skull chant. Oh, the poor child doesn't know what I signed her up for.
That's okay. When she's of age, she will make her own decisions, and maybe Titans will have figured it out by then.
Nah, we'll bond over it.
Well-
It's it builds character, man. It builds character.
My kid's probably
All right.
gonna like the Vols, but their second best option is Vandy down the road, and that's only good now. Who knows what the future looks like?
Come to the Notre Dame side. We always fall flat at the end.
That was a fun question. I know we've dragged
It
this
was.
out quite a bit. We're into the home stretch, though. I think we're getting towards the end. I appreciate everyone's patience and their support. Garabuki said, leaving behind the bad vibes from the weekend. Oh, this was the question I just asked. Next from Fred Dog 81. Hope you guys are doing well and have a good offseason, but I checked out the last third of the year for a variety of reasons. Hope it's better next year, but NASCAR desperately needs real changes. What sounds like some are certainly coming. More horsepower, different format. We'll see where it ends. Napa Racing Fan says, worst race of 2025, I'd say Xfinity Atlanta 2. Yeah, any race
Bristol
they just
Spring.
refuse to pass Cody or Austin Hill. Yeah, Bristol Spring was rough. I would agree. Yeah, that's probably it for me. Immortal says, what is the most overrated NASCAR race and the most underrated race? Enjoy the offseason, boys.
Overrated, like ever?
That's such a hard question.
Rated, underrated. Weird one. Underrated. Fall Talladega 2013. It's better than the 2012 race. And I will die on that hill.
I didn't like
It's-
that race. I didn't like the finish.
Now the finish definitely, but I mean, I didn't like the finish of 2012 either, and that was before I found out Junior was hurt. Like it's just like
See,
I don't-
I selfishly love the 2012 finish.
really. Why would that be, Eric? Is it because Tony Stewart
Uh,
crashed?
Well, that did help. I know that actually was the icing on the cake. No, I'm just kidding.
The pink
15-year-old
cake.
me, 15-year-old me was not a Tony Stewart fan by any means. But I had other reasons. Anyway,
I
no,
can't think
that's
of an overrated one.
Yeah, I don't know. Over like
As much as I wanted to go see it, honestly, you don't have to watch any part of the 98 Daytona 500 before 20 to go. It is not really that good of a race in total.
Interesting.
It's a great moment, and I don't care about how good, mediocre, bad, whatever the race was. But the race itself, if you watch it in a vacuum, was not that good.
Chat
The finish was.
Fred Dog 81 sent a super chat and said, "Oh, and one last time, F's for Kyle Busch. He had a top 5 this weekend, though. Like he ended the year on a high note." A Prada says, "Appreciate you guys. You help keep our sanity with a depressing sanctioning body, hoping for a better format and more competitive car next year." Again, think you might get both, hopefully. Green Eggs and Jam says, "Another NWP year in the books. See y'all in Daytona." Absolutely counting down the days. The Roman numeral 3 says, "Seeing Jarrett's cigar makes me flash back to when I gave you guys cigars and malt liquor at Road America. The latter is probably still in Jarrett's grandpa's fridge." Is that true, Jarrett? I don't even know. I don't remember that.
Maybe.
You're like, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Oh man, some of there's some of those stories and some of those trips we can never tell online. Not because we did too much bad, but I'm just saying,
no, we never did anything crazy, but just like goofy stuff.
I'll say that the 2021 Daytona Cloud House, there is some random shit from that one we can never talk about.
Yeah. F's all throughout the chat. That is insane. Blue Jimmy fan says, "Thank you, NWP, for another memorable season. I'm proud of how much y'all have grown since the start." And yeah, Blue Jimmy fan's been there almost pretty much since the beginning, it seems. "It's always a joy to spend every Wednesday with the best hosts and the chat. I know. Much love to you all." Thank you, Blue Jimmy fan, and congrats to your boy Jimmy getting another cup start in his home state near his hometown, San Diego, next year. Going to be exciting. Spencer Purcell says, "This has been a fun season. Lots of laughs, fun segments, but best of all, you guys are the best. Thank you for everything. Can't wait for season 9. Thank you, Spencer Purcell. Grizzly Industry says, "When the new point system is out, can someone explain how all these points work, both the 2025 and before the new? Also explain how owners, manufacturers, etc. is scored, please." Yeah, we'll need a good reset. That'd be a good YouTube video. Just here's exactly how this new format works. Because even the current format, I get confused sometimes. Jay Fendi says, loved y'all's streams. Also, I asked ChatGPT how Hamlin's loss on Sunday ranks in all-time title losses in sports history since 1980, and it ranked Hamlin's loss from 4th to 2nd. That's like one of the most heartbreaking losses in all of sports. That's
he couldn't
crazy.
win that either.
2nd again. Damn it. Napa Racing fan says, "Daniel Trotta, we need to move forward, not backward. The playoffs are more consistency and entertaining. I pray we don't go back to that full points system." That's somewhat misquoting her, but fair enough. Not everyone's a fan of the full season points. So I don't know, teach their own. Justin Drake says, how the mighty have fallen. Kyle Busch this week got rage baited by Z-Max Cars Tour driver Landon Huffman when Landon used the 2015 championship as an example of how bad the system is, and Busch replied with a middle finger. I did see that. Hey, that's his legacy. I don't blame him for defending his legacy. He won under the rules. And I mean, yeah, I know he missed 10 races or whatever, but in the 26 he raced, he was probably the best driver. It was him or Joey. And Joey made one too many enemies. Napa Racing fan with a couple. Playoff Plant. I'm going to put a cactus emoji. Mamba, that's the playoffs. That's what makes NASCAR great. Championship battle so close. Always comes down to the final race. Heim on playoffs. It awards, promotes mediocrity. I don't know if they're quoting. Yeah, no, I don't think anyone here is saying that the one race finale is amazing at this point. Carlos Ortiz says, "Hi, NWP. Missed most of the show today for work. Love all three of you guys. Watched the finale muted, and I fell to the floor for Hamlin. Get rid of overtime." Fell to the floor and fell to my knees in a
parking lot or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Carson, I stand with 27, says, "Hey guys, have a great off season. Have a great Thanksgiving. Have a Merry Christmas. Along with chat, look forward to seeing you guys in 2026. It's the most positive comment Carson has left all night. I was waiting for the pit shoe to drop or whatever, but thank you, Carson. Napa Racing fan says, "NWP is the people's race hub, which is greater than Harvick's unhappy hour." It's Nothing says, "It's 2040. Pretend for a second. SVG is retiring from his cup career. How many wins do you think he'll have?" 2040. So he's racing 2040.
Golly, we racing that long?
I think he could win. I think he could win 3 races a year based on how many road courses are on the schedule, as long as he's in the sport.
So
I don't know.
45. And
If
then
he's
add
in the
whatever
sport,
we
that
have
I don't think he'll be in the sport until he's 50. I think he'll race for
Yeah,
maybe
no,
10 more years. So give him like 20 to 30 wins on top of what he has now, which is
If
6.
Thomas Jock has over under 20, I would take the over on that
Here's
personally.
the thing.
That's what I would say.
And we kind of talked about this in like the big 3 era too. Like eventually the competition finds a way to beat you. Like they improve, somebody that's really good comes along, maybe a Zilich. Like
Maybe.
I think he'll be probably around 20 when he's done.
I take the over. I'll say that confidently.
I think he could. I think he could.
Yeah. Justin Drake says 100 days until Ram comes back with 5 trucks at Daytona. Anyone else going to be a Colleague truck fan? I am very curious to see how that plays out. I like their driver lineup so far. I'm really interested in the methods they may be using to get their 4th or 5th driver.
The Gong Show.
Confirmed. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Carson says, "What's the matter, Eric? You don't want to say Kenseth and Stewart are the only drivers not to win in last 10 races and 1 championship?"
I guess 2003. I guess he
Is
didn't.
that is that a stat that Kenseth and Stewart, and I guess and now Larson, won titles despite not winning the final 10 weeks?
I'd have to go back. I don't know if that's. I don't have it that
Yeah,
far
I don't
in
know
the
if that's a stat, but that's interesting. From the number 3 says more power metal bands. Oh God. Hammerfall, Blind Guardian, Running Wild, Gilnarius, Ed Guy, Avantasia, Nocturnal Rights, Power Quest, Running Wild, Rage. A lot of power metal bands. They do sound pretty powerful. A couple from Snapback to Reality. We are in the home stretch here. Xfinity 24, Indy, and 23 Dover. Try to find the reason or the Easter egg for my name. Tip, click the profile. Jarrett 2020 Xfinity Roval race. Promise I mentioned it in the Truck Pro Race stream. What is this profile picture? I can't.
So apparently the chat's saying it is true.
Interesting. What is this?
That's
It's like
interesting stat.
I can't tell what this profile picture is. Snapback to Reality. I'm so sorry. But says he then adds amazing show for you and your wives to watch this. The Mentalist, it's spectacular. NWP 25. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. NWP NASCAR 25 Racing League? Question mark. What are your guys' thoughts on the game and possible needed fixes? I haven't played it. Danny hasn't played it. I don't know how much Jared's played it.
I've played it. It's decent. It's a decent game. I will say that Creator League, I'm not going to be in. I like it. I think it's a decent to good game. It's not good enough for me to buy twice. Because I'm not.
I wanted to wait and get it for PC because it's easier to. If I want to record any content, it's easier to just do it from a PC.
Yeah, I just want to play it for fun, and it's fun, but it definitely has some issues, and it needs to be patched a lot.
Elijah, we are way off in the weeds here. I don't know what this question is. Have any of y'all seen Knights of Guinevere? It's a YouTube indie animated pilot that is like if old Disney meets Arcane. It has a floating theme park. I've never heard of it. I'm sorry. It sounds interesting.
Is it animated?
It says animated. Yeah.
Speaking of animated, y'all should see Dead Sound. Awesome animated stuff.
Is that a power metal band?
No, it's dinosaur content. It's
okay.
like documentary style, but in like a very artistic way. It's very good.
I hope I pronounced that right. Knights of, I think it's Guinevere. Anyway, Justin Drake says, "What's the closest track on the 2026 schedule to you guys? I'll be representing USF for the St. Pete truck race."
Danny, what one's closest to us?
I mean, Texas is 45 minutes down the road, so those are not that we don't have the flashiest home tracks, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Mittens the Racing Cat says, "What a great year, boys. Can't wait for next year. Go Blaney." Mittens has a favorite now. Snapback to Reality says, "Last one. Only diecast I have is a Kyle Busch 2017 Skittles Camry. Currency here in Brazil is less valuable than the existence of the playoffs." What a line. It cost 55, whatever that currency is, and now probably above $100. I don't know. Dollary dues. Didn't somebody use the word dollary dues earlier?
I don't know. I'm just having a good time.
Thank you for the support, Snapback to Reality. Save your money for more Kyle Busch diecasts, hopefully. Hopefully a race win one in the near future.
Yeah.
Preston John says, "See y'all in Daytona. Appreciate it." And then lastly, from I Stand with 2311 Carson, I've memorized every NASCAR Cup Series season since 2000. That is why I knew the Stewart and Kenseth stat. If that is true, Carson, your brain is a computer. That is scary. You have me afraid now for my own safety and well-being. How does anyone memorize every single stat? That is unbelievable. What a show tonight, gentlemen. I appreciate the two of you for sticking with me. And I appreciate everyone who is still watching for hanging out with us all season, all night. Be back here January 28th. Well, not here. Be on the Icebergs channel. Yeah. Click the link in the description. You can subscribe to Jarrett, subscribe to Danny. January 28th, we'll be back ahead of the Clash. We may have an off-season episode. Keep an eye on our socials. We're going to have to line up schedules for that. But for now, that is going to do it for an insane 2025 NWP season, gentlemen. Final thoughts?
3 hour, 50-minute show.
I love doing this with you guys every week, and I can't wait to see what the next 8 years bring. It's been so awesome.
Get ready to watch us turn old, guys. We're only just getting started.
Turn? I thought we were already there.
Unk status. We'll get there, gentlemen.
We're gonna have gray hair.
All right. Have a great night, everybody.
Adios.
Started off right, pal. Right on, come on.
Get outside. 3 wide, 3 wide.
Unbelievable.
Where are you playing? We're going. I like the aggressive. Dude, let me drop the great bar.
You can go tell all those guys up there they can suck in.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing?
You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
They're so nice.
See at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Jump. Coming light. Hello. Come back on him.
That was incredible.